I'll play that in a second, don't worry. And let's go live. Hello everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will, and today we are back with another episode of Call of Cthulhu Horror on the Orient Express. And once again, we're starting off with a somewhat beleaguered crew today, as we're waiting for Redundant to come back from his trip from Bristol Airport, so he'll be back soon. Haley's not feeling very well, so she's presumably been devoured by the demons of Venice. But we do have the rest of our cast and crew with us tonight to play and to dive into the realms of insanity. We have Greg with us tonight. How's it going, Greg?
I wasn't ready. I'm fine.
Oh
no! Yeah, I'm just. I was telling Lindy I got a tremendous amount of flack for last week. I've got pictures of Venice, California, people, just everything. I probably have like care packages coming from everywhere, but who cares? Pat did what he had to do. Tadberry wasn't worth much anyway. Sorry. And who really likes Venice? I'm here. I love this game. I can't wait to play. Sorta. We'll see. Let's have fun.
Fantastic. Fantastic. As usual, you can find our character sheets here online, although I imagine the sanity scores on that are much depleted, as they are on the the website currently. We've got Lindy back tonight, reprising her role as Nancy McDrew. How's it going, Lindy?
Oh, it's going pretty good. I'm not sick this week,
Hey.
so that's awesome. I'm not hacking up a lung. Besides that, yeah, just super terrified / excited for the shenanigans that are going to be happening this week.
Many shenanigans will be occurring, I am sure. So Harvey will come back soon, hopefully. Yes, he's current. I can only imagine Redundant is running his way back from Bristol Airport
because
to.
he knows what happens when Pat and Nancy are present.
Yes, yeah, bad things happen when this pair are left in charge of Venice. So if you're wondering about a recap, you can of course read it here, but I'll catch you guys up as well. Last time on Horror on the Orient Express, they were searching for a set of car simulacrum, an item of great power hunted for by Christians and Turkish cultists alike. The investigators find themselves in Venice, 1923. Their latest clue led them to a strange children's garden party at the Gramanci family estate. To their horror, they encountered slaughtered children pinned to a sacrificial tree, and it was not long before the librarian, a previously established villain working for a cult, arrived with his beast, a gibbering abomination too grotesque for words. They fought, eventually burning the beast and capturing the librarian. Unfortunately for them, however, they had left the bumbling English investigator Tadbury inside of the maze, and he was killed by one of the risen children which had been murdered by the beast. And this is entirely to blame by Pat. So there's that. Tadbury's death caused a chain reaction of chaos throughout the city of Venice, which is now burning and also being ripped apart by tentacled abominations. At the very end of the last episode, we saw the Orient Express, one of the carts being smashed down by one of these gibbering tentacles that rose out of the ground. This is, of course, a test run, is what the librarian called it, for Mehmet Makriat, who was looking for the set of car simulacrum, and Mehmet seems to be a man of great power, but most likely not even a man, who's been alive for centuries, trying to execute his plan of the set of car simulacrum. And all the pieces reach Constantinople, then the world goes to utter shit, it seems like. And he's been able to create multiple planes as well, and he is likely tied to some greater being in the Cthulhu mythos. So, or maybe he is one of the greater beings in the Cthulhu mythos. So that's where things stand as we start today. What's up, Pike? Usual ways to interact with the show. If you haven't followed, hit that follow button and join us. When we hit 20 followers, you guys will get to decide anything which happens next in our campaign. Give these players sanity checks, give these players, I don't know, teeth for eyes, whatever you guys decide upon. Also, it's just an idea. Here is a tweet for you guys, 20 retweets, another viewer decision, and of course, every £100 that we raise on Kickstarter during the streams, we will have more viewer decisions as well. We've just smashed through our second stretch go on Kickstarter. Kickstarter. And our next one is for any nominated map creator, Chris Bissett, who just got nominated for an Emmy, to do 2 battle maps for us, along with making all of our artwork into tokens for use with Roll20 and other tabletop VTTs. So that's where we're going to be diving off today, with you guys in Venice in turmoil, as you're outside the Orient Express, and all shit has gone down, essentially. At this point, Evelyn has gone mostly insane, and Harvey is also fairly insane as well. And those two are kind of looking after each other, as they have been for the past week or so, I suppose. And you guys are in Venice, which is being ripped apart by tentacles that have been summoned forth by Mehmet Makret, and the death of 7 people tonight in Venice that you couldn't stop, or rather allowed to happen. Now, this is a test run for the world, essentially. So whilst Venice is burning, you know that there's more at stake, and you need to get out of here and on your way to your next stop, which is Trieste. Now, one of the carts has been destroyed, but there are people panicking and rushing inside the train nonetheless, and you can hear the engine roaring as it's trying to pull away. However, there's a giant tentacle laying on it right now, which is weighing it down, and you can see it trying to pull away as you guys are maybe 20 feet away from it, and people are getting crushed around you, buildings are being torn down. You actually spot the reporter, Miss Felicia, run aboard the cart onto the train safely. She's crying out and screaming, but she seems to be mostly alive. So Pat and Nancy, what are you guys doing?
She's alive for now. I'm kidding. There's been enough people dying tonight. Well, obviously we have to get on the train.
Will, from your last description, as I've had a week to think about this and constantly been reminded from my friends, our carriage was towards the end, correct?
Yes.
It was like our carriage and then like a private carriage and then like the caboose type thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What I would like to do is there any way for Pat to try to uncouple our carriage so it frees the remaining, 80% of the train?
Yeah, you could probably do that.
I'd like to help with that, if possible.
Okay, so you can rush up to your carriage on the end here. It's locked in by chains and a heavy lock, which keeps this thing together, like coupled.
Right.
So you could maybe shoot it off. You could maybe pull it off with a great deal of strength.
What do I think it would take? Like just one shot? I could,
Probably multiple. This is like heavy cast iron.
My 44 can drop an engine block, so I can probably I want to limit. I only have so many shots left.
Right.
Can I try its strength first and see? What would it take for strength?
You could give me a hard strength.
If I'm helping him, would it make it less difficult?
Yeah, I'll give you plus 10% if Nancy's helping.
And I'll put a hand on his shoulder. Put an extra 10%.
You can do it.
Because I have the simulacrum in.
Yeah, and we've got 3 pieces of the simulacrum now. So does that give you anything else?
So it will slowly draw in, and the more pieces you have together, corruption to you and around you. But each one gives you 5%.
5%.
Okay, so I'm going to make a strength roll, and I have to make a hard one.
Yeah.
With a plus 10%.
Yeah, I should, right?
Yeah.
So I have 10%, 15, 25, 30, and a hard would be 37, right?
That sounds like maths.
So wait a minute. No, I needed 25. I do not get it.
Okay. So yeah, you're trying to wrench this thing off, but there are tentacles writhing up all around you, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to kind of focus, even with Nancy's hand.
Tentacles, you say?
Tentacles, I do say.
Okay.
Do we have any holy water? We can just kind of splash it on them.
No.
I have Scottish communion, but I don't think it'll work.
I should have thought about this. Can I make that tentacle erupt from my face, the one that's supposed to have crazy strength? Okay. I tell Evelyn to look the fuck away. I do not.
I close my eyes. I don't want to know what he's about to do.
Yeah, everybody don't look. And I say the incantation, and to my knowledge, there's no sanity for this. This is a free, right? You told me that, right?
Sure.
You're so trustworthy.
No consequences.
Okay.
Whatever you say.
I just want to. I read the thing, and I was, the bylines are in there. So.
We had a contract.
We live by that shit, right? We die by it. Okay, so I blasted out, and I used that to rip off the thing.
Nice. Okay, so yes, essentially what happens is Pat opens up his mouth, and a giant gibbering tongue tentacle launches itself forth from his mouth with unerring strength, and it just smashes through the coupling on the car, and more powerful than any gun, wrenches off the iron, and you feel that the chain's kind of link has broken.
All right, well, I'll put my tongue away and head on into the one that we just decoupled.
Okay. So you can rush inside, and all the while people are running and screaming in and out and around this cart. So there are other people on board the cart as well. It's not just you two. People, you rush inside and you see that people are like screaming and hiding in here. What do you want to do once you're inside?
Are there any bodies? Did anybody make
Oh yeah, there are dead people in here, that have been crushed. There are tentacles bursting through the windows, through the roof. It's not as though it's safe in here.
Okay, so but now that the thing's decoupled, has the Orient started to move?
Yes, yeah, you can hear it, I guess, from here, really. It's beginning to chug and kind of like pull itself away.
Okay, so my job at this point is, if we're making our way forward through the train, I'm keeping the other three as close to me as possible, kind of working as a cow catcher, going through all the masses of people. If I see any tentacle that comes in that looks like it's going to get purchased, I'd like to evaluate the situation. If it looks like a car is done, I'm gonna break it loose and send the car back.
Okay.
To free up the train.
So you're heading forwards for the train to get to the front of it, where presumably the engine is. Yeah. Okay.
Towards Macriat's car.
Right, exactly. So you head through, and the first car that you come to, there are women and children screaming in here, and it's being very quickly overwhelmed by tentacles. It seems as though they are eating it from the back and working their way forwards to the front. And as you feel the Orient kind of like pulling itself away, it's being held back by several of these tentacles. If you could find a way to cut them loose or get them off, that would most likely make your progress much quicker.
How many tentacles?
I don't have exact number on them right now.
How many it feels like,
it's a...
Okay, Pat runs up to
feeling.
the next car. Are there any tentacles in the next car? You said we're going from
There
the
are
back.
less of them. So let's say there are hundreds of little ones bursting their way through the very back one. Through this one, there are dozens.
Alright, I would like to light it on fire.
We gotta cut it loose.
Yeah, but fire might dissuade it as well. You cut
Yeah, if you want
loose,
to
I'll start burning.
Yeah, start burning. I'm gonna try to get as many people through. I mean, Will made a point of saying there's women and kids on here, so right, I know. So,
I already blew a little girl's face
The
off.
women and the children, not just the men, folk, but the women and the children too.
Let's go!
okay, so Pat's like, go, and he's trying to get as many of them into the next car, and he's screaming, just keep going forward.
Okay, so here's what happened. You're kind of pushing people forward, and they're like trying to run with you as they sense your kind of leadership and realize that what you're saying is true. That if they stay in the back cars, they're just going to die. And you realize that Miss Felicia is in the next car that you come to, next carriage that you come to, and that she is being grappled by a tentacle right now, which is trying to pull her out the window. And that if she goes out that window, she's a goner. Welcome back, Redundant.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. She just gets pulled out the window. Bye, Felicia. So to catch you up real quick, Tom, you guys are on the Orient. It's getting pulled apart by tentacles. You're slowly pulling away, and Felicia is getting pulled out the window by a tentacle right now. That's all good. So, does anyone want to help Felicia, or are we moving past her? She's screaming, "Help! Help! Help!"
How big is the tentacle that has her?
That's a good question.
It's not a huge one. It's a manageable one. Maybe like the thickness of a man's arm.
Okay. So,
Wiry.
right. It's girthy. Okay,
It's
so
girthy.
I run up and put my 38 right against it, like a foot away from her, and I shoot and see what happens. That's loaded with the priest blood bullets.
Nice. So you just place the gun right up next to her. She's screaming out, and you click the trigger, pull it back, and everything. For a lot of people, there's a lot of chaos going on right now as well. But her ears are ringing. She's kind of like stunned and falling back, and she's safe from the tentacle as it recoils and just kind of whips back out of the carriage as if it's been stung by a bee.
Okay, are we moving now? Is the Orient?
It's going. The problem that you're having is that all of Venice has tentacles bursting out from it, not just in this location. So as you're picking up speed, there are tentacles still kind of like bursting in through the window to smash glass. Skag of my man, 12 months, dude. Whole fucking year. Redundant, are you good there? And I don't know if I can hear you. There you go.
How's my volume? Is it okay?
Sounded good.
Cool, awesome.
So Harvey, what's your plan in all of this? Does Harvey have a plan?
Sorry. So, sorry. Could you just tell the situation again?
Yeah. Sorry, no worries. So you're aboard the Orient. It's pulling away. All of Venice, however, has tentacles bursting out of it and bursting in through the windows. Felicia's just been saved by Pat, and people are moving towards the front of the carriage where it seems to be safer. The back of it is being torn to shreds by tentacles. Felicia's with you. She's in no real state to kind of run anywhere. She looks like she's going into shock basically and panic, as are the women and children who are kind of running with you right now. And it's not just like pedestrians, the staff are just as terrified as well, and they're getting ripped apart by these creatures and pulled out the windows. It's safest on the floor where the tentacles can't feel around for you as such, because it seems like they don't actually have eyes. They seem to sense sound, and they kind of feel around for people. So the safest place is for people to crawl along the floor, most likely.
So, in relation to where I am, where is Nancy and Pat?
They're next to you, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I'm probably gonna hit the floor, get down on the floor.
Do the dinosaur, presumably.
Yeah. And yeah, probably just shout out.
Everybody, do the dinosaur!
It could work.
Never know.
And so, get down on the floor, and like crawl, and just basically tell everyone to get on the floor and just start crawling out. I'm going to pull out my pistol, obviously, so if any tentacle comes near me, I'm going to get a shot. But essentially, yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Okay. Also, Nancy, you can roll me a wild magic surge from Warp Strike. Yay!
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
1d10,000 set up zeros. Yes. Okay.
That'll do it. Ooh, nice round number. 3,700. So Nancy, when Caster dies, the nearest town is evacuated.
Okay.
Which is good. It looks like Venice does need to be evacuated, so maybe you'll die.
No, let's not.
Pat kills Nancy.
No.
Yep.
We had to do it.
But then we'll have all the tentacles and it'll just be you guys.
Yeah, so Felicia's with you guys screaming on the floor. People are getting down onto the ground, and the train is slowly being pulled away. The windows are being smashed through, and the tentacles are still coming in. But as the train picks up speed, you realize that it's harder for them to get in. They only have like a moment's notice to really burst in through the windows and take someone, whereas when a train is stationary, they've got a lot of time to pull people away. So you guys can all roll me little thing here. You can all roll me just a dexterity to try and avoid getting attacked by these tentacles.
Okay. That's a super success.
Super duper success, yeah.
Oh, a super duper, super pooper.
Super booper. Very nice. Will succeed?
Oh, Pat. I succeeded.
You does not look like Pat succeeded.
I did not. Can I use my? I have a nat 20, I think.
You do, yes. You do. You can use it.
Might as well.
There is still a group nat 20, so someone can, if you all decide upon it, if it all is agreed upon, or I'll take a majority vote.
Majority vote.
If we all can't agree on it, then you know, okay, we can make a deal. You can pay me a £1 billion. So the group you are pulling away on the train and out from Venice, and you manage to avoid the swinging tentacles breaking in through the windows until after about 20 minutes or so, the screaming and panic stops mostly and becomes mostly panic and screams from people who realize that their loved ones have been wounded or are dead. And there's a lot of chaos on the Orient right now. It's just going full steam ahead out of Venice.
But there's no more tentacles?
The tentacles seem to be mostly behind you.
Oh,
There
all
are
right, great.
still
Time to relax. Then.
there are still 7 tentacles aboard, which are seem to have some sentience to them. However,
Ash, throw them out the window.
I'd like to have Pat do as much like first aid as he can, and while kicking tentacles off the train.
I'm gonna be kicking tentacles up windows.
Get a broom and
Yeah.
sweep up on aisle 4.
sweep up the tentacles.
Okay. So yeah, the group of you go set about trying to. Is anyone kind of trying to help people who are wounded?
I first aid on
First aid on people. Okay, you can roll me a first aid check, Pat.
Sure.
Let's see what you get here.
Oh man, I'm rolling shitty today.
Yeah. So several people you're unable to save, as the kind of lacerations are largely kind of around their throat and their face, which is obviously a bad place to have lacerations, in case you're wondering. Go ahead.
Will, do any of these people that I tend to unsuccessfully appear not to have anybody with them?
Sure, there's a man who appears to be traveling on his own that no one is with. It's possible that other people on the train know who he is, but they've been separated or they're dead somewhere in Venice. You notice that there are a lot less passengers than there were previously, but there are also some people you suspect who aren't actually passengers at all, who are just people who have jumped aboard the train that they see escaping Venice.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go right ahead, bud.
No, I was just going to say, can I do some trying first aid? I'm not really that good, but however you would try.
Yeah. Nancy would try to help too after the tentacles are gone.
Of course.
Priority number 1.
Of course. Okay, you guys can both roll me first aid checks.
My first aid is 30.
Oh!
Oh!
I actually succeed!
How much luck have I got? No, I'm not wasting luck on that.
I'm not wasting
I'm not wasting the luck on these peasants.
I succeed. I'm
So-
just like, whiskey, like that's...
Yeah. So Nancy, you save this Austrian man who turns out to be a reporter, but you think he's just a local reporter.
He's a reporter. Why did I say it?
Why do we save that scum? Oh man, fake news. Yeah, he's. Oh, thank you so much. I don't know what any of that was. What was that?
Tentacles. Lots and lots of tentacles.
It was like something out of a nightmare.
It was. Glad you noticed. Just gonna like pat him on the shoulder. But you should probably get a nice stiff drink. It'll help a
How
bit.
can I repay you?
Oh. How about we talk about that over some drinks later? It will be great.
Okay. He's fine with that. As there's things to do at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just like, keep helping people. Put a pin in this.
Yeah, you also get the feeling that there probably isn't much like fine serving or dinners that are going to be happening anytime soon aboard this.
Because there's a couple bottles, it's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
Will,
It's poisoned anyway.
Will, can Pat make his way to the medical carriage that he and Harvey were in when we got out of Paris?
Yeah. There are several people with field training from the war or who are actually doctors who are seeing to helping everyone. So there's a woman who's got her sleeves rolled up and her hands and arms kind of covered in blood, and she says, "If you're going to help, pick up that scalpel there."
I said, "I'm helping down over here." And I've got blood all over me, too, from helping, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I just rush in. Having at least a working knowledge of the area, I would like to steal at least one bottle of laudanum and a bone saw, if I can find one.
Yeah, in the chaos, there's just like drugs out everywhere. Basically, she's set up a table, and there's just a mishmash of stuff. She's busy sawing into someone's leg right now with gusto. So you can pretty easily pick up a couple of bottles of what you see is labeled to be laudanum, and a spare saw as well. So you have that.
Great. That's all I need.
That's all I need. Thanks. GG. That's my loot. Okay, Harvey, what are you up to, my friend?
Well, Harvey will just continue to try to help in any way he can, whether it's holding pressure on a wound, or whether it's just trying to console someone, or just making sure that there are no more tentacles on the train. He's kind of like out of his element at the moment. He's not really a medical kind of guy, so he's probably just going to try and help those who are more professionally trained.
Okay.
And if they need someone to get some towels or something like that, he'll essentially just do the kind of
okay, yeah. That same doctor who you learned to be named Amelia Gray is very organized in all of this. She orders you about, basically, which is kind of what you need and what she needs for you to, scalpel. You grab her a scalpel. Move this dead body out of here, that kind of thing. She's pretty efficient. Like, if someone's dead, she's thrown them off board and getting rid of them, because there's not a lot of space on the train right now. Because you realize, actually, that the further up the carriage you go, you find that there are more people who are commoners, I suppose, those who would not be traveling on the Orient Express usually, which is of course a very fine kind of place. So there are quite a lot of Venetians who have just dived on board and in a panic just got out. And so whilst that is being dealt with by a couple of the remaining staff, and you realize that their force is probably a fifth of what it was before, they don't really seem to be in control anymore. It seems like Amelia, because she's the professional doctor, seems to be most in control of the what's going on board right now. You also learn, and this is what all of you learn, is that the conductor is dead, or not on the train, so presumed dead, and so there is no real leadership. The only people of the staff who are left are the kind of caterers, who are basically, poorly paid staff, really.
Do we actually have a train driver, someone who knows how to drive the train, or is it just literally just a random person just jumped in and just...
Yes, you learn that the train driver, quote, is a young lad from Venice who's been apprenticed to an engineer for some time and worked on the railways. He happened to be there. He has a vague understanding of what he's doing in that he knows how to make it go.
I hope he knows how to stop it.
He doesn't know how to stop it necessarily. So yes, this little boy is... Oh, he's not really a boy, he's a young man, I suppose. His name is Beto. And he's in communications with Amelia, who seems to be... She'll be, seeing as you've become a kind of assistant, Harvey, in communication with him via you. So that's set up as the main... infrastructure of what's going on the train over the night here.
Okay. Sorry, Nancy.
Would Nancy have found out that there's no real conductor going on?
Yeah, you guys are well aware of this. The news is spreading like wildfire, and after a couple of hours of the main panic going away and people try and get organized, there's a lot of meetings going on in the carriage of Amelia right now, where people are coming to her and asking her what's happening, and she's being honest about telling him what's going on.
Okay.
So we can turn up to that meeting if you want.
Nancy is actually fairly skilled in mechanical repair, so she's going to try to assist in any perhaps things wrong with the train. And help her out any way she can.
There's a couple of things wrong with this train. One or two.
Will, while everybody else is doing humanitarian things.
And I would look for bottles of alcohol. Well, Oh, you need me to go over there? Okay, fine. Just keep an eye out.
Yes, Pat.
Pat is going to retrieve the shotgun and the shells and stuff that we have from the carrier car that we had.
Okay.
And as soon as I can find that place was locked up, correct? They had a cage on the door.
That is true. It has been blasted off, however.
Okay. Is there anybody in there?
There are 2 little girls hiding inside.
Okay. Well, I walk in and I get them into the next car. Yeah, get out of here. You're crazy shit going on around here.
Yeah, those Scarpa.
Okay. I kind of reposition the door as best I can, and I go back to that cubby that Katarina had with her little area.
Okay.
I retrieved the dead body that didn't appear to have an owner, the older gentleman.
Yes.
And you guys do whatever you're going to do. I'm fine.
All right. We won't linger on that then. So Nancy, you turn up to one of these meetings where Harvey is working with Amelia Gray, the kind of surgeon, and she says, "We need anyone who knows anything about engineering to get up the front there, because that man, I don't think he knows too much about the signals on the railways. As I understand it, there are several signals that need to be done. We need to go on the right tracks. If we end up going somewhere wrong, we could end up absolutely anywhere. I don't know where. I don't know Italy very well, but we could end up anywhere in the countryside, which wouldn't be very good. We need to get to Trieste. Trieste is where we can stop, and the police force will find us there. Okay, now, we don't have a telephone, but it's certain that someone will have seen the Orient Express run and know that it's headed here. So that is our hope. That is what will happen.
All right. Well, I know a little bit about some mechanical type things. I'll see what I can do about them signals and track shifting and stuff, I suppose.
Good. Thank you. Now, if there are any bodies on board, then we need to make sure that they are off the train. They're taking up space, and we're going to be on this train for several days. It's a health issue. These bodies will start to decay, and, well, I don't know how much food we have left on the train, if you catch my drift, gentlemen.
I do.
We wouldn't want anything to... Say that again, Harvey.
So is the train currently still moving?
It is, yes.
In that case, Harvey will go. So, when are we going to stop the train to remove the bodies?
Well, I was rather thinking that we could... the snows this winter are very heavy, you see. We can just throw them off board, Harvey.
You want to leave a trail of corpses along the railway? I mean, what kind of respect is that for the dead?
If we stop, whatever was back there might catch up with us. Have you considered that? I don't know what the hell that thing was back there. I don't really want to know. But what if it catches up?
Might need more medical attention from an actual hospital, and we're not going to get that. They stop in and taking bodies off. Could save more lives by keeping going.
Exactly, and I don't want these corpses on board making people sick or worse. Like I say, we need to talk to the staff to know where the food is kept, and then we need to ration that out. There are people on this train who shouldn't be here, and people are panicking right now. It could be that people are breaking into the stores right now. We need to have this information. We need to have people in charge who are handing it out to people, because if not, and there are bodies left on board and we're here for weeks, we get stuck in the countryside, I don't know how much fuel there is in this thing, then terrible things could start happening. We all heard the news of London and that train. We don't need another ghost train.
Yes, heard. Read about.
I heard quite a bit about that crazy random happenstance.
Also, Mike raises Kickstarter pledge to give a nat 20 to the three of you guys. Thank you, Mike, very much. Huzzah.
Thank you.
But basically what Dr. Gray lays out is she wants these bodies off as soon as possible. She thinks they're going to get infected and people might start eating them. In the worst case scenario that you are stuck here for weeks, you don't know. Currently, what the information that you need to find out is how much food do we have on board, how much fuel do we have on board, and can we get to Trieste safely? And also, we need to get these bodies off somehow.
Nancy will figure out about the fuel when she's going to help with the mechanical stuff.
Harvey is going to help delegate people. Well, first he's going to say, okay, so we need people who are trustworthy and reliable. So we need, I think, the remaining trained staff, if they could assist.
That cuts us out of the mix.
I know!
All right. The remaining trained staff, and if anyone else that you know could be trustworthy. And then we should delegate people to certain aspects. So, for example, stockpiling the food, finding out where the food is. Nancy, I believe, was going to go up to the engine to see how the fuel situation is. I might be able to assist with navigation if there are any maps around here to find out how long it'll take us to get to our location. I'm not the best at navigation, but I'll give it a go.
Good. Okay.
I'm assuming, Doctor, you remain helping the wounded and...
Yes. I'll be attempting to train several others in field care, so if anyone is interested in picking up a thing or two here, then stay with me and I'm able to teach you something.
I'll do it when some,
Okay, good. So, yes, Nancy, wasn't it?
Aye.
Very good. You can look into the fuel. Harvey, I need your best man on food, and you can look into helping navigate.
Yes, no problem. I'll get Pat onto food. No one's going to mess with him. Trying to fight
Splash cut to what Pat's doing right now.
Yeah. By the way, Nancy, have you seen Pat?
I haven't seen him since he was helping with some first aid in some of the train cars.
Well, go and find him.
I'll look for him if you like on the way to talk to Berto.
Very well.
Okay. Well, I'll go get the maps, and if I see him, I'll tell him. And if you see him on your way, you'll tell him then.
All right.
Somebody better get ready to roll some sanity.
Which one of us is gonna find him?
I don't want to find him.
Nancy's honestly not looking that hard for Pat. She's like, fucking kill Tadbury, bullshit, motherfucker.
Okay. So let's go with Harvey first of all. I'm seeing as he's looking for Pat. Now it's been 10-20 minutes, so Pat's work, quote unquote, is probably done by this time. So Pat, would you come back out and be doing other stuff in the train at this point?
Sure.
Would you be easily found, I suppose, is the question.
If I was doing 3 such things, Will, would I have had 30 minutes would have taken care of that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
So I find Pat?
Yeah, you find Pat just walking out and looking innocent.
Ah, Pat, good to find you.
Hey, what's going on,
You
man?
know something's wrong if he's looking innocent.
I know, right?
You would also notice that Pat's eyes his pupils are about the size of pinpricks.
Yes, are you okay?
I'm right as the rain.
Oh, very well. Anyway, we need your assistance in stockpiling the food. If you could have a search for the train to get as much food as we can. The reason I thought I'd select you is because some people may be reluctant to give up some food. So,
Define food.
What do you mean, define food? Something edible, bread.
Okay,
fruit.
so there's 2 distinct things there. Something edible, and then what you would consider, as you're explaining further, food.
Food that'll keep us alive.
Okay. Like meat?
I doubt that people would have meat on. I mean, if they have meat like beef or
You
something
just
like
carry meat on your back.
I know. I mean, if there were any meat in the kitchens of the car, sure. Yes.
I didn't know how far you wanted to go with this, Harv. I mean, we've been on trains before where people were eating other people. So I'm just gonna come right out and say it. Do you want to stack bodies? Okay.
No. We're going to dispose of the bodies. They're going off the train. We are not going that far. No.
We're throwing all the bodies off the train.
Yes. All the
Okay.
bodies.
I'll be right back, and then I'll start looking for food.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you get right to that, and then Harvey's gonna just walk off, kind of confused, and try and find a map.
Okay. Yeah, you will find up front where Berto is that there is a map. However, Berto isn't very good at reading maps. So he's, maybe like 22 or so, unshaven, looks very kind of young, but he's covered in the the coal and like the heat that's going on in this room right now is really burning up. And what little English he speaks, he says, map. Read.
Yes.
Read English.
I will do my best. All right, I'm gonna try my best. Oh God, I haven't got that good of a navigate.
Where is Evelyn?
We need her.
No, I
we
don't.
need to navigate. She's not here.
I know, right? I haven't got a clue at the moment. I'm kind of like going, so are we in Italy?
Yeah, so we're on, that's the boot, right? That's the boot.
Yeah. Boot, right? It's the boot.
So, it's going to take you a while to decipher them fully. It's in
Italian.
It's in Italian, yeah, that's one of your problems.
That's my excuse.
Yeah, sorry, I don't read maps in Italian. But you are fairly certain that on this you're going to have to make several decisions about which way to turn, which tracks to put yourselves on to get to Trieste properly. And Berto has no clue. So we'll cut back to Nancy after that. So Nancy, you've gone looking for helping with Berto, I guess.
Yep.
Okay. So you come up to the engine room, which is blasting hot, and Harvey is there staring at maps, and Berto is also there currently.
All right. Berto, is it?
See,
I see you're here.
Berto. He points to himself.
Cool.
He points at you. English.
Nancy, Scottish, not English. There's a difference.
He doesn't understand, but nods.
Nancy.
Scottish.
Close enough. All right. So, I pick up a wrench and I'll be like, anything needs fixing.
He points around into this blasted room. However, this room has actually itself been more protected than other areas of the train itself because it's made out of fucking cast iron, this thing.
Yeah.
So he says, here good train wheels bad.
The wheels are
and
bad.
he kind of he does the ear listen emote, and as you listen you hear kind of that horrible kind of rough sound of metal on metal screeching.
Yeah.
And he says, not last, brake.
Right. The brakes won't last. Do we need to stop the train to fix it, or can we fix it while we're going?
Stop, less danger.
Okay, that sounds good. Stopping, less danger is always appreciated since recent events. So I'm gonna try to figure out exactly, is it the brakes? And look for extra parts.
He seems to think it's the brakes are stuck, or just ruined. And so you're unable to kind of go any faster, but you're also unable to stop.
Oh, we're not able to stop.
Yeah, so they're like stuck in
Okay.
place and screeching. So you're going, but
Great.
they're kind of stuck in a half position.
Alright.
So you can go check, the brakes down the back, and you kind of see
She's
them.
gonna go check the mechanism, see if there's anything stuck in it that's maybe making it like stuck in the halfway, or if she
Yeah,
can grease it up or fix it.
Yeah, as you go out and you're kind of blasted by the cold Italian air, as it is, pretty heavily snowing out. It's wintertime, of course. And the further into the Italian countryside you go, you're actually quite near some mountains, so you're in a very cold region right now, which is, for note for the rest of the crew, the group of you, if you were to stop and you had to stop for a long time, it would get very, very cold aboard the train. Because your like heating is gone. So Nancy, you see that there's a body stuck in the brakes, several bodies actually, and they're not entirely whole. They have been kind of churned and chewed up, and they look like the vertebrae is pretty well stuck onto the brakes themselves. You could potentially perform a dangerous kind of maneuver to try and pull these bodies off, but you would feel much more comfortable being stopped whilst doing so, because you wouldn't fear the risk of falling to your death.
But we can't stop, right?
Yeah, not very well.
Okay. I'm gonna tell him to slow down the train as much as he can.
Okay.
Because we can't actually stop, so like slow down. And I'm
Oh.
gonna find a nice long pole or something so that my hand isn't in immediate danger.
Okay, yeah. So you can grab a pole. You can roll me a strength to try and dislodge this.
Okay.
We have that party nat 20.
Yeah,
It's
let's
true.
see if we need it. Yeah. These bodies are really heavy and I'm really weak.
Party nat 20. All in favor, say aye. All right, good stuff. So yeah. So Nancy, you're struggling with it for a while, and then eventually, with a sickening kind of, the body comes loose and just is lost, and there's a bump on the train as the body kind of goes underneath the wheels, and the brakes come loose. You have control of them. They're like thick with blood, but once again, you have control of your brakes.
All right. Well, because it's snowing out, I'm gonna grab a little snow and kind of throw it in to kind of wash out some of the blood so it doesn't get gummed up.
Okay. Yeah, there's like snow which has formed where you're standing just outside, and so it's like the snow basically just sticks to it,
Yeah.
because the blood is still warm.
Yeah.
But you've got your
Once
brakes
it
back
gets
under
moving,
control.
it'll clean up.
Yeah. You've got a lot of other both will tell you, you've got a lot of other like holes on board, and also like mechanical problems
Right.
with the wheels themselves also seem to be damaged, which is a bit of a problem when you're going to be making like turns and stuff like that. There's still
Well,
a
now that
screeching
we-
sound, but the brakes are safe, you think?
Examination, see what we can fix up in half an hour, and then we'll keep going.
Okay.
Half an hour to an hour.
Okay.
She's gonna try to mechanical repair some stuff, figure out what the screeching is,
Yeah. All right.
see if she can fix up those wheels or something.
I like it. Okay, so let's cut back to Pat, who is, quote, doing something, then looking for food.
Right. I've done it, and I'm looking for food.
All right. So, how about, say, looking for food? Are you asking people, do you have food? Are you looking for, like, the stores on the train?
I'm going all the way back to the very last one and pushing forward. And as I see bodies, I'm pitching them over the side, checking them for money and food.
Yeah.
I'm looking and seeing if I come across any of the dining cars or any of the, any of like the caterer stations where they just had big crackers and things like that you mentioned before.
Yeah.
See if I can find anything like that. And I'm basically going to just get like a linen, like a bed case or a pillowcase.
Okay,
Just, throwing stuff in as I go, filling them up, until I look like some type of like demented, blood-ridden Santa Claus. Continuing forward.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're chucking bodies overboard. People are doing that as well. You do notice that there are a band of gentlemen who would appear to be perhaps taking advantage of the situation. There's about 3 or 4 of them, and they're going around and looting bodies, essentially, and then chucking them overboard. And they are also bullying people who are still alive into giving them money and food. And so there are these 3 or 4 gentlemen. They have armed themselves with what appear to be broken off, splintered pieces of wood, and they're going about press ganging people to cough up, basically. And as you're coming across one of these sort of food stations, they're rifling through it and chucking it into a bag at the same time as well.
I shoot one.
All right.
I just boom right in the back of the head.
Okay. So you blast
This is why
out.
we put Pat in charge of food.
You blast out this man's brains. Give me a roll.
One less mouth to feed.
That's the way I looked at it.
That's the way to do it. Yeah. No hesitation.
That's an extreme success.
Wow. So you just pull back the trigger behind his head as he's not noticing and blast out his brains onto the train carriage. The other 3 of them kind of shout, and they're going to turn on you with their pieces of wood. And we'll roll a dexterity to see which of you guys get to go first there.
Well, if they're all turn on me, I was going to fan the trigger, so I could take 2 more if you let me. But I mean, that's up to you.
I'll let that be your initial kind of firing shot, and then
Okay.
we'll see if they react in time. Looks like they don't. So go ahead.
Okay, they're within 10 feet.
Yep.
I'm gonna fan it 3 shots. I can actually do 6, but I'll do 3 first, and then.
Gotta save those bullets.
I'm using 38 bullets, man. I'm into my regular rounds now.
My plan is to just war of attrition Pat down by.
I know he's still in here, so. But I can't help myself. Got a murder.
All right.
Okay, that's 1 hit.
Nice.
2 hits. Wow, Jesus.
Wow.
It's like a super hit. Now I get to roll my shitty damage.
That's it.
6, 4, 4.
Okay, so you blast the first man's brains out, then you fan the trigger. The second guy falls backwards with a bullet through his heart, and the 3rd and 4th, whilst hit, aren't dead, but they're lying crippled on the floor. You can coup de grace them if you want, or they're just screaming in pain right now.
I will put them out of their misery with their own pointed sticks.
Wow, okay. So several people witness this, and after you bash in their faces and murder them with their... some of these have nails in them as well, so they're particularly nasty. There are people who are kind of staring at you in abject fear. After this, you've definitely gained yourself a reputation aboard the train.
Yeah, that was what I was, I hold up one of them that looks like a bat. Look at my dirty girl.
So do you turn to them and kind of show off in a way?
No, I turn to him. I make a point of wiping the blood off my face. I take all the stuff that they had collected, and as I go through, anything that was in there that I saw them press gang off of the people, I return to them as we're going through. But I keep the food, the money and stuff. I return it to them.
Okay.
And I just say, food's for everybody. Somebody pitch those assholes off.
Thank you, American. A lot of people are thankful, if afraid of you, and perhaps just more afraid of you than anything else, really. But some people insist that you keep it because they think that you're, language barrier. They're not sure what you're saying.
I will take these guys and throw them off the train.
Okay.
Choo-choo.
Yeah, choo-choo, motherfuckers. They get booted off into the abyss. So you return with a sack full of food to Amelia and Harvey. I guess. Well, Harvey's actually with Nancy right now, so you return that to Amelia's ask for it. She looks at your kind of like bloody state, and she looks up and says, "That's fresh blood. No trouble, I hope."
Not anymore.
She nods and says, "Well, if there's anyone else like that, then I trust you can see to it, American."
Oh, I will. Don't worry, you got an important job. I've got a less important one, but I do it really well.
I served with men like you. Oh, I saw them die in a war.
That's what we do. We fight and we die.
She rolls up her sleeves and gets to hacking into the leg of a screeching man who she's got on a table, who's biting down on a rag right now. So there's a couple more kind of bits of vigilante work which Pat will need to do. There's a couple of unruly people. No one has gone so far yet as to attack anyone, but there is some petty crime going on. And, you know, trying to steal food and stuff like that. So you probably have to bruise up a few people or chuck a few people overboard. But nothing too bad yet. You seem to have regained control of the train itself. What cars remain?
Firearms, my friend. Do I come across any firearms?
Yeah. You'll come across a couple of sort of dirty pistols and stuff like that. You know, maybe they're legal, maybe they're not. They have a couple of bullets in them, so you'll find, you'll find 5 rounds.
Nice.
Searching the bodies. So Harvey and Nancy. Nancy's working on rebuilding it, of course. Harvey, I will let you roll me another navigate, and I'll give you a plus 10% for this one for the time that you've taken to look into it.
Believe.
Gotta believe.
No, I'm still 12. Good.
Oh no, you want to luck it?
No. No.
You want a nat 20?
What's your navigate at?
I do have a nat 20, don't I?
You do.
Yeah, go on then. I'll nat 20 it. I mean, you gotta use them, haven't you?
Use them or lose them, I guess. Yeah.
I actually have another one stored because I had one advantage to use.
Okay, so you got an advantage to use. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, dokie. So yeah, you turn it the right way around, and you realise that you know where you are. You need to turn right on the next kind of change, and then you need to turn right again, left, and then right. So there are 4 changes that you need to make.
Hang on. Let me write this down. Right, left. What was it? Right, left.
Right.
Right.
Righto. Right.
Rightio.
What?
I thought it was right, left, right.
No, I had it right, left,
Okay.
right.
Okay, cool.
One way or another. Okay.
So Berto says, you know where?
Yeah, I basically write it down. Actually, I write it down on a piece of paper for him. Very simple, just R-L.
And arrows.
Oh yeah, arrows might be easier actually. So I'll do like that, to right and obviously left, in the order, and show him basically when to do it.
Okay. He feels more confident now that he knows where you're going. Of course, this trip is going to take several days, so you're not utterly clear yet.
Yeah, now that I've done my job,
yes,
doing the navigation and stuff, I'm going to actually start going around and looking for, like, in cabins for blankets and coats and stuff for people, because it's going to get frigging cold.
Yes.
So I'm going to start gathering blankets and coats and jumpers and anything that people can use to warm themselves and give it out to people so that they can, huddle for warmth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Prioritize children and women first.
Yeah, you have come to a realization as you go looking for warm clothing that there is a woeful lack of it for the amount of people that you have on board. So you do a head count after a while, and you have 127 people on board total. So there's a lot of people have dived on board that are most likely not meant to be here. A lot of people have died as well. And in terms of warm clothing, you can clothe about 20% of those people, because most people, it was late at night, they were asleep, so a lot of people just wearing what they were sleeping.
In that case, for the people that they're tossing the bodies off, I'm gonna
strip them naked. Yeah,
the bodies first, so that we can use whatever clothing they had and try and basically do as much as we possibly can. Ration, encourage people to huddle together and share what they can, so they like share body warmth and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay.
I'll just do that.
Yeah. As the night goes by and people start to sleep, they wake up and a lot of them find themselves very cold and hungry as well. So rationing out of food will need to begin. And Amelia is happy to put you guys in charge of that. Yeah, I mean, she's probably seen to dozens of people at this point and saved lives, some, and killed others. She's also become extremely protective of the drugs which she has. So now the initial panic is over. She's got them under lock and key.
What would I have to roll to calculate? Because we know we got 100 and... You said 120?
127.
Nancy'd like to
How
roll that too. She's pretty good. She's pretty smart.
Yeah.
She is.
What would we have to roll to calculate how we can spread out this food for 120 people?
I would let you roll an intelligence.
All right, Nancy will help with that because she's very intelligent. That was not this.
That was not her most intelligent moment.
I could use 19 luck, but
No, I've done it. It's good. It's all good.
okay.
Okay.
But
I passed.
I'm too worried about fixing this thing mechanically. Like, screw the people. Give me some whiskey and a wrench. I need to.
All right, so Harvey knows some logistics, pretty sure, and he works out that the food that you've managed to scavenge together for every 127 people here will most likely last you at best 2 days. Your plan for how long it would take you to get to Trieste is going to take you 4 to 5 days.
I'm going to head up to the engine and say, is there any way we can make this train go faster?
Faster. We need more fuel. I have to not use too much, else we won't get there at all.
What if we
Suddenly learn to speak much better English.
What if we start breaking furniture and using the wood in the stable? That'd help.
Yes, that is good, but it would lighten. We also drop cars. Lighter, faster,
Okay.
but people squish.
I think in this current situation where they want heat, I think they don't care about that. You know, they'd want the body.
Are there any towns on the way before we get to the city? Any smaller villages?
He shakes his head, and Harvey, no, there's no stops on the Orient. It's basically just countryside that you're in.
Stops on the
There's no stops in the Orient Express here. It's a one-stop fun ride to Death Town. He says no, country. Their village, walk if we stop,
We gotta stop.
but small.
Yeah, I was gonna say dump some of the people off at the village, but you know.
Hey villagers, we got a treat for you. Basically what he points to on a map, and how you can see this as well, is that there is a little village about 2 days in, which is when you're about to run out of food. You would have to stop and walk to it, however, and it's like a couple of miles out. So you're going to be walking through some pretty cold terrain, and whether or not they have a lot of food is another question as well.
I think perhaps our best bet is to lose some carriages, everyone squeeze up, and move absolutely everything we could possibly burn out of the carriages we're going to ditch into the engine room, and hope that'll be enough.
Plus, I mean, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but I mean, it's 2 or 3 days without food. We have plenty of water from the snow. I mean, it's not like anybody's going to starve to death in the interim. We're just going to have a lot of people that are going to be
A lot of hungry
pissed.
people.
Yeah, you have hungry people. The other thing as well, in terms of like snow, you'd have to stop to actually collect snow. Because it's not like falling into the carriage as such. Like, there's bits falling in, sure, and there's bits that will accrue on the roof, so that's another way of getting it, I suppose.
We should probably gather some when I stop to fix some of this stuff right here.
Yeah, can we not just like put a bucket on the end of a pole and stick it out, just and bring it up like that? Is that not possible?
That's possible, yeah. I mean, there's 127 people though. You're gonna need a lot of buckets.
That's a lot of buckets.
It's everyone puts a bucket up out there, out their window.
Here's your snow ration.
Bring out your snow. Okay, so survival plans are in place. Berto is more than happy to for you guys to break down furniture to use into fuel it for them to go faster. If that's a plan that you guys are going to enact. But you're of course going to have to get some of the men on board, most likely, to help you with that as well.
Yeah, definitely break down the furniture from the cars we're letting go.
Yeah. Okay. How many cars do you want to get rid of? You have 10.
Okay, so we got 120. Can we calculate how much we could squeeze in each cart?
You could. Yeah. I mean, you could. You know, how many people would fit in a mini? You could squeeze like. If everything was stripped bare and actually taken away in terms of like because there's quite a lot of like restrictive cabins and stuff, like if you broke through the walls they'd make a lot more space. You could easily fit like 30 to 40 people in a carriage.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll strip them, strip the carriages.
Okay, it's going to take you some time and of course
yeah, we're not going to be gentle about it. We just smash it down with whatever we can, and it doesn't have to be pretty or anything, but
so I'd say we have 10, we drop it down to 5. Then it's not super cramped.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, lose 5.
Okay.
Or, however, I think it's important to keep the medical with the
Yes.
separate.
Medical can be its own. We can keep the medical cart and then drop.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep them out separate because that psychologically could mess people up with seeing that.
Yeah. I mean, they're already quite messed up from what I've seen. I mean, this is the equivalent of 127 people rolling and most likely failing sanity checks. So it's a couple of temporary insanities going on right now on board. But yes, okay, so you loosen 5 of the carriage and cut off the couplings until there's 5 carriages left with people more cramped up to stay warm. And of course, as the second kind of day goes by and you're breaking down this furniture to fuel Berto's engine, you do go faster. The decoupling of the trains kind of speeds you up a considerable amount, and using the more fuel will mean that you can go faster and faster. Berto is cautious not to go too fast because of the state of the wheels. And he's not an expert, but he doesn't want to push it too much, because if you do come off the rails or whatever, then you're absolutely fucked.
Was I able to fix up the wheels any? Do I need to roll?
You can roll me. Is there an engineering skill in this game?
I have a mechanical repair skill.
Yeah. Give me that.
Oh, that's a success.
Ooh,
I had a
very
35 in it, so.
Okay, yeah. So you've managed.
That's actually an extreme success.
Wow. Okay. So you've managed to set up the wheels to be repaired almost fully. You're fairly sure. It's going to take you most of the second day to do that, whilst the other guys are breaking through the furniture and the walls and a lot. But the wheels are kind of back on, less screeching now.
It's just like fixing tractors back on the farm at home.
You're like covered in grease and dirt, you know, and everyone's still covered in that kind of dried blood because there's no like real fresh water, having like snow that you can melt to like wash yourselves with.
I'm telling
filthy.
people to like get the snow on board while like I'm fixing it.
Yeah. So it's on the second evening, late, when you hear a call from the cabin from Berto, and presumably you guys are in the medical with Amelia, kind of organising things, and she's, you better see to that, he wants something. Oh, we can all get some rest soon, hopefully. She's been working nearly 48 hours non-stop now.
We'll check out what he wants.
Alright, Berto, what's up? What is it?
He points on the map and he says, pass. Mountain. He's searching for the word. He's like doing like a canyon kind of thing with his hands. It's Finn. Train through. But snow. Big snow.
Is being an avalanche on the track?
Just winter. He like gestures up around them. Big snow down. We stop train.
I suppose it would be too much to have us plow front of the train.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, the Orient has a large amount of staff that will usually go out and dig you through and out of heavy drifts. It also does have a plow on it, but it has been ripped off by the tentacles. Yeah. So he says, so not safe to, and he does a kind of smashing against a wall sort of motion.
We don't want to crash against all the snow.
So
Yes.
go around or stop, dig.
I'm gonna have a look at the map to see how far out of the way going around is.
Yeah, going out the way, going around is going to take you an extra 3 days onto your trip.
How long would it take to dig through?
Good question.
Yeah, how long is this valley?
The valley, you're not sure how much snow has fallen into it. That's the thing.
Oh.
Yeah, there has been very heavy snows the past week or so, so it's possible that the pass has gotten quite full up, and maybe that could cause avalanches as well. But at this point, you'd actually have to see it. But you'd have to make a decision before you see it, essentially.
So we've got a few options here. We could stop, ask for many volunteers to dig our way through. However, we must take into consideration that the lack of food that they have eaten, injured, so they may not be at peak fitness to actually get us through this. And however, I'm sure people will be eager to warm themselves up by doing it. Alternatively, we can risk an extra 3 days.
How's morale on the train right now?
And do we even have the shovels?
Yes, you do have shovels on board. They are kept with the kind of staff compartments. The morale on the train is low, as one might imagine. There are a lot of insane people, a lot of dead people. People have just gone through a pretty shocking experience, so they are loyal to their survival right now. They're afraid of Pat. They respect Amelia and you guys because you're helping. But you can't say that if you ask them to go dig, that they would go dig. For how long? Some of them would. You know, some of the stronger men or, you know, the staff would certainly do it, but depends how big the pass is.
They're going to get hungrier,
And cold.
And cold.
Could we make a makeshift plow at the front?
I was thinking that, but it could be too much to plow. It's probably better to go around and we'll just have to throw some people overboard. It'll be fine.
That's like... How many days is that? That's 5 days without food? That's too much.
How many?
We would have picked up some speed because we dropped them, so we probably saved some time on the original estimate, but this is still 3 more days.
Yeah.
Will the new route take us close to any...
any settlements or anything?
It will actually take you further out. So it's kind of this sort of B route that is there, winds up the valley rather than through it. And people don't really live up in valleys.
I say we dig
Italy.
through. I say we try digging through.
Well, if I was going to make an estimate on how quickly I could dig through, I don't know, a drift of snow with my tongue.
Drift of snow with my tongue.
Okay, cut back to 4 months ago when Greg had no idea he'd ever utter those words.
God, has Pat ever dug through a snowdrift before?
Pat would have, Pat. I mean, Pat's done, anything was
tours,
asked
right?
of him for the cavalry, so.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I give him any
Not with his tongue.
better estimate. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, here's what you know. The tongue was far better than your own hands in terms of strength.
That's what I'm saying. So I could probably sweep.
Maybe, yeah.
Right? It was tensile enough where I could wrap up a shovel or two with it and kind of.
Sure, yeah, you could do something with it.
I need your help. I don't know what this tongue does.
Yeah, I mean, neither does Pat really. All he's tried with it is to kind of shoot it out and burst a lock so far. So it's possible. It's possible it has even more capabilities than that. But Pat
Don't
is.
stick it to any of the metal on the train while it's cold.
Oh Jesus, right.
Yeah. Imagine getting that tongue stuck to a pole.
It's just licking snow. Pat, what are you doing? Don't lick the yellow snow.
Yeah.
I don't care.
No, I personally think stop and shovel.
Was Nancy going down on us?
Nancy does not want to get stuck in a snowdrift, but she also doesn't just take another 3 days. I have a feeling this is the wrong decision, but we're just gonna do it anyway because that's how we operate. So
There are no wrong decisions.
it's sure.
There are just decisions that you make.
She's just gonna
That
hang out
end in
with that
terrible
Austrian
things.
reporter dude. See how he's doing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Hans is his name.
Oh, Hans,
Yeah,
okay.
Hans.
Of course it is.
Of course it's fucking Hans. Oh man, yeah. Jane Doe's down the road. He's very thankful to you for your help. He says, "Do you know how long it will take for us to get dressed?"
You know, not too much longer. We'll be going through a valley. There may be a little bit of snow on the tracks, but that shouldn't slow us down very much. But should only be a couple more days.
How does someone such as yourself come to be in Venice? Are you here with the Englishman I saw? Is he your fiance? Is his?
Oh no! He has a lady friend. She's in France, though. He's just a good friend of mine. I was here on the Orient Express before the crazy stuff happened in Venice, and thankfully it got back on the train in time before it took off again.
Oh, do you think they will have to stop the train at Trieste and stop its journey?
Well, it definitely needs a bit of work. I don't know if they're gonna just stop the train completely. I hadn't really thought that far ahead. I've been more, busy fixing up the wheels and stuff on the train.
Oh, yes, that is good. That screeching was keeping us up all night.
Oh, won't be any more.
It is getting cold. Do you think you could find some? Is there any more warm clothing around?
I see you, Greg. She's like,
Is there any ways we could warm each other?
Is there any way we could keep each other warm?
She's like, would she know if there's any? There probably is not a single
you-
extra scrap of clothing.
No, the thing you've got is whiskey.
Yeah, she's like, I haven't been having any extra clothes, but I'll let you in on the secret. I'm kind of like, into the corner, like, I've got a bottle of whiskey left. And
Oh,
that's what's been keeping me going.
whiskey. Oh, that sounds good.
Alright, you would like a shot of whiskey?
Oh, yes, thank you.
Alright, I'll just pour him a shot. Like, it's basically into the cap,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've been there. He drinking on public transport is fine, right?
Yeah. That's what she was doing this whole
Exactly,
trip.
yeah. He gets it done. Oh, that is strong stuff, Miss Nancy.
Aye, it's the best. It's a little piece of home from Scotland originally,
There are rumors going around that there is no food left. Someone says that they saw the food stock and that it is almost gone. Is that true?
Alright, what day is it? And we had how many days
It's it's the endless second day.
And we had enough food for 2 days?
Yeah, so you're out of food.
Alright, she's like, wait, I wouldn't go saying anything about it, but there's a few pieces. There's a little bit of food left, but I think it's going towards the children. She's totally just like bluffing. Like, yeah, she's like, we're not supposed to release it.
Roll me a... It's a fast talk, I guess.
Alright, let's see here. Oh, I'm gonna use my crit. I'm gonna use my nat 20 on that.
Okay, yeah. He kind of sighs a deep breath. Oh, good.
Keep morale up a little bit.
Good. Alan, I will spread the word to everyone that things are okay still.
Aye, you'll do that. I'm gonna have another shot of whiskey.
Okay. Bertha begins to slow down the engines in the morning of the third day. And eventually, with the brakes now intact, the train comes to a halt. And you jump outside into the thick snows, which are about up to almost your waist at points. There's some very, very thick drifts around here. You see a pass which has been filled with snow, which is overrunning the tracks by several meters. It's gonna take some plowing through, seeing as there are several hundred feet which have been just piled up with snow. It may have been that there's an avalanche that has kind of fallen down into this area recently as well. As either side of you are the valleys. At the top of the valley, however, you do spot what appears to be a village. There are several buildings up there, which are not on the map, and rather oddly placed as being at the top of a valley drift.
Okay. In that case, Harvey's going to inform everyone. And he's going to suggest, I think we should split up into 2 teams. Some start shoveling, and while the other, another small group go up to the village to look for supplies, food, stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, Amelia agrees. She says, I've got enough to do with here. Someone should see if they have food up there. We're
Yes.
going to run out soon, and this drift looks like it might take you a day or 2 to get through at the very least.
Mm-hmm. So perhaps food, warm clothing, anything, basically.
Anything that we can barter for, trade for, or at this point, just steal.
Yes. Well, I'm willing to go up there.
Good. Explain to them it's a humanitarian crisis. Say the police are involved, whatever you need to.
I'll figure something out.
I can finagle something together.
Yes. Perhaps we could take a translator.
Oh,
Hot too.
you got hands.
Hans, I'm
We
pretty sure he knows how to speak the local language.
Yeah, toothbrush, please. Hans says, "Oh yes, I do speak some Italian, so I can translate. They might be not English, very good English speaking, because of they are quite far away from society."
I'm sure we'll find anything will be great. Right. I'll put on like a coat and stuff like that. And all right, I'm ready. Who else is coming?
Will, can I check I need to check the pocket watch, man. Are we still on 1?
Yeah, you're on 1 right now.
All right. I'm almost tempted to cycle through, man, and see if this...
This village, I know. But the cycling through.
You guys are so paranoid.
Right.
This unmarked village on a map. In the middle of winter. God, I wonder.
Well, I wonder if phase 2 has the snowbank. Because what if do I have a sense that I could take the whole train through like Macariat did whenever he used his little stopwatch?
You don't know. I mean,
I think we took the whole train through.
you know that you've taken yourselves with you in the past.
Took his cart through. At least his carriage went through.
He's the guy who also made the pocket watches.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, I didn't make the guns I shoot either. Damn, they work. So, no, I'll go up with you guys. Fuck it. I can't make decisions anymore. Last time,
Last time you made
demoted.
You destroyed Venice.
You destroyed Venice.
Literally destroyed Venice.
Listen, in my defense, Pat was only about 40% responsible for
Only.
That's generous. How much is Greg to blame? 60%.
That's the other
Greg's a solid 60%.
Okay, so you wanna head up to the village in the snow.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so the winds are howling as you get outside, and the further you climb up the mountain. It's going to take you the better part of a few hours to get up there, and by the time you do, it's really slow slogging going, And presumably at this point, you've sent men to start digging through the snowdrift, yeah. Okay, so yeah, there are people down there who men are kind of foraging through, and a couple of them have decided to come with you along with Hans. So there's a group of about 3 or 4 who are kind of the men looking to feed their children in particular, you know, and really need food. There are a couple of newborn babies aboard, so like they're particularly worried about keeping them warm whilst the train is slow and making sure that there's food and stuff like that for everyone. So they're coming up you. Sorry, they're coming up you. They're coming with you up the mountain. he's coming up right now. Oh man, yeah. As you approach this village, the village appears to be a ramshackle set of about 10 buildings, which have been made out of wood, and there are signs up in Italian. And Hans says it says ilog how do I ilgua ilgo
Logging camp.
it's a old word, old Latin word, I think. I think it's a group.
Monks.
Hmm?
Monk? Monastery?
Like yes, like a monk, yes.
Oh, great.
Abandoned.
Fantastic.
Abandoned to me. Does it look like abandoned, just left to the weather?
There's no one out, but it has been snowing very heavily. You're not in a storm right now, but you imagine it's not safe to stay out here for much longer than you guys have been.
Does it look like the buildings have just been left to...
They haven't been left to rot, no. But they haven't been particularly well kept up, but that's most likely due to the sheer amount of damage that's able to be done by storms.
Worst case scenario, if no one's here, we can go through the buildings real quick, see what we can scavenge and use some of the wood for fuel.
There's no electric that you can see. So, you know, there's like lanterns and stuff that are around, and they do appear to be lit. So it looks like people are home.
Oh.
Go to one of the houses, they're lit.
No.
Tracks too, Will, if I can.
You look around for tracks, but there aren't any, most likely due to the quickness of the snowfall that buries tracks within, 20 minutes, half an hour. So you don't see anything like that. There is no particular building which seems to signify it as being a special building of any kind. It seems like there are people that are living here. So you guys just want to try the first door?
Yeah, the first one with lights.
Okay, yeah. You rap on the door, and a few moments later, there's a sound of kind of like creaking on wood from above as someone descends a staircase. And an old woman opens the door, who's kind of covered in this sort of shawl, and she looks very weather-beaten. She's wrapped up in furs, and she says something in Italian to Hans. She says, "Who are you? What do you want?"
Say that we are in need of assistance.
We're from the local government, and we're here because there's a train that needs to get through, but there's been a bunch of damage done, and we need food and supplies. And we're more than happy to make a deal, barter with the townsfolk if she knows anyone who might be able to help.
Mm-hmm. We'll pay. We'll pay for anything.
Hans translates, and she seems to spit by his foot. And he says she does not like the government. She does not want your money. She says this place is not for you.
Okay, maybe I shouldn't have led off with the government.
Will, is there any Christian iconography around?
None.
None. Okay.
Oh, okay.
You can roll me some spot hiddens.
Yeah.
Could you tell her that we just need supplies and we'll be out of her
And
hair?
we will never bother her ever again.
Yes.
We
Anything
won't put this on the map. It will be completely great.
or like any of their neighbors, or if she knows someone who could potentially help us.
Okay, I will ask. Okay. You. Who succeeded on that?
Let me see if it was an extreme.
Extreme success.
Not extreme, but very, very, very good.
Okay, let me show something to you.
Oh boy.
You see this image on your basically it's it would appear to be some kind of it's not a Christian iconography, so it catches your eye in particular, I suppose, Nancy.
Yeah.
It's a symbol which is drawn on the back of her wall, which is a kind of circle like a coin, or I guess a medallion, and it appears to be some kind of humanoid type figure, but there's something strange about it.
Okay.
You kind of see that second sort of figure behind that one?
Uh-huh. And it looks like people and crazy and bullshit that we don't need to deal with right now.
He says, she says she can sense your need. It's odd way to put it. She says that she thinks you are important.
I am very important.
He's like continuing to relay as she's speaking, in like a thicker Italian, and he says, she says that this is not a surprise.
Oh.
You are heralded.
Oh, that's great.
I think she might be crazy.
I think so too, but you know, we're all going crazy on the train anyways. Does that mean she can help us with some food and, clothing and stuff?
She says she will help because you will be the ones to bring the medallion.
Oh!
Sure.
Okay, great. Sure. Let's get some of this help on the way.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. She said, and he kind of looks out as he's kind of listening to her translation. She said, name, Johann Winkelmann.
Johann Winkelmann.
I don't know what she means. Maybe she thinks you are her son or something. He turns and smiles and says thank you to her, and she goes upstairs and brings up a kind of like a pack of fur clothes. It's quite a stockpile as well, which looks like they could clothe plenty of people. And she has she goes into a kitchen presumably, and about 10 minutes later she returns with a crate filled with food.
Oh, brilliant. I thank her so much. I smile and,
all this time she's kind of staring at you. She doesn't smile. She's got like a kind of toothy sort of grin, but she just kind of nods at Hans. She says that you are welcome and that you should leave now.
Yes. Is there anyone else in the village we can talk to for supplies or?
I will ask her. And there's a brief exchange. And he says, she says that there are others in the mountains who would not be so kind. You best make haste away from here as fast as you can.
Right.
All right.
Thank you.
How much food does it look like we can ration this crate out?
This is probably a good, extra day of food. And thanks so much to Myth for the host. How's it going, everybody? Welcome in. We're playing Call of Cthulhu right now, and we're stuck in between Venice and Trieste. There is a mountain pass which has snowed up, and they've just found supplies from a nice old lady on an unmarked map.
It's poisoned. I'm not eating any of it.
Thank you so much to Myth. If you guys don't know, Myth has been part of Encounter Roleplay for, I don't know, God fucking knows, for yonks now. If you don't follow him already, he does some great streams over on twitch.tv/Mythomatic role-playing games and video games mixed into one. Isn't it beautiful? Go check it out. And if you enjoy the show, guys, hit that follow button. How you doing, Myth? Okay, so So yeah, he says she seems like actually concerned about these peoples or things. I'm not quite sure. It does not. The word does not translate into English.
Could you ask her if they'd bother us down in the valley? Because we're kind of stuck there for a bit.
He asks her and translates. She says this whole area not safe come nightfall, so lock the doors. The translation closest is being in English, not human, but not animal.
Okay.
It's like a thing, you know.
All right.
Okay. Well, I think it's time to head back to the train.
Agreed.
Yes, thank you. I thank her again, and well, let's go.
Okay. Yeah.
We're like, okay, thanks, bye.
Okay, but see ya. And Hans is more than ready to go. A couple of the men kind of stop you, as one guy's like, we need to stay, we need to find more food. This is not enough for the next 3-4 days.
I don't.
That's all they got. Move.
They are welcome, and I think it's getting late, and we don't want to be out here at night. So
Yeah, what time is it?
Yeah, it is getting later. It's
Alright.
Getting to afternoon, 3-4
I
p.m.
know it's not, the greatest supplies, but it'll keep us for another day, so we can come back tomorrow, maybe see if any other townsfolk be able to help. But I think we should cut our losses, and she said it's not safe after nightfall, and I'm inclined to believe little old ladies when they tell me that after.
The temperature will drop
Mhm.
significantly, so if you don't freeze to death.
Yes, but my little girl, I need to make sure there's enough food for her. Listen, I will stay here.
You've got a little girl, Hans.
We're going to stay here, okay? And we're going to stay and get more food. You go back to your train. We'll be there come nightfall.
I pull out my guns.
Hans, you're gonna get back
Whoa,
up.
whoa. Yeah, Hans is coming with you, but these other guys, the
other guys.
These other guys are like, hold on, whoa, no need for that.
Listen, if you're so concerned about your little girl having food, you can give her your share. She'll be well fed until we get to where we're going. Get down the hill.
We can come back tomorrow if we need to, but we don't want to be out after nightfall. What's worse, your little girl not having as much food, or she losing her father?
Oh, fine. And they will come with you after you threaten them.
Although if we had left them here and they died, that would have been less mouths to feed.
More fresh meat.
Fresh meat.
Fresh flesh. Okay, so yeah, so you head back to the train, and it's 3-4 p.m. People are taking a break as you return. You return to Amelia Gray, the surgeon. She says, "Oh, so you found some food then? Good. What was that place like? Were they more food up there? You think?"
Well, some village I've forgotten in time.
They don't like the government, and they weren't super friendly.
Well, who
but
does?
we got some food.
We got some food and some thick coats, which will help significantly.
Okay. Well, as long as you have some food and some warm clothing, we should be able to last out a couple of days. They've made good progress, but they're tired, so I'd let them take a break. And you say nightfall?
Yes, nightfall.
Nightfall, and we should just because wolves and stuff in the area. We should lock the train doors.
I agree.
And make sure the windows are secured.
Okay, yes, but we don't have windows, for the most part.
We don't have windows for the most part. Oh, that's just great.
We have to board them up or something if there's any wood, but we've burnt all the wood. Or given it to Berto.
Are there any trees in the area? Like, could we get branches and kind of like...
You could go out and cut down some trees, potentially. You don't have any axes, though. You just have to use branches.
That's what I meant, just like branches to kind of see if we could just at least cover them.
Yeah.
Because that'll help with the heat too, keeping the heat in is having the windows covered.
Yeah, that's Amelia's main concern, is the heat, because it's going to get very cold in Italian mountain winter. So
yeah, any evergreen boughs because if it was just blizzard and stormed, I'm sure there's a lot of down branches.
Yes.
Bring them in, kind of cover the windows, help trap the heat in.
Okay. So yeah, you can do that. You don't feel like this would repel much. It's more like a kid's den than a actual window that you've kind of put up, and not all of them are covered as well.
Yeah.
So some of them the wind is like
little bit
howling
helps.
through. Yeah.
If not, just to keep the wind, from
Yeah.
windbreak a little bit.
So on the third night, I guess you'll ration out more food for people, so that you can sleep. And the temperature is dropping rapidly the later it gets, and the darker it gets here. And the sun very quickly disappears behind the valley, and all that you can see is just the village left before that too is obscured by darkness and the winds, because the winds that move so fast actually pick up snow along the way and form not mists, but obscuring kind of barriers throughout the night. And of course, because you don't have much light with you in the first place, it soon gets very dark aboard the Orient by the time it's about 7 or 8 p.m. People are getting colder, but more people are wrapped up than there were before, which is good.
and huddle for body heat.
Yes, people penguin up. And
Huddle.
indeed.
There are access. There's roof access on each carriage, right? There's
Yes.
two.
Yeah. If you were to head outside, then there is a little man's ladder up that you could get to the roof from. Accessible.
Okay. Yeah, Pat's going to the roof.
Okay. So, that is our first viewer decision of the day, my friends. So, you guys are going to describe to me some of the, quote, beings of the night in this place. There are, of course, some horrible, gribbly monsters that live here. Describe
Horrible,
them to me.
gribbly monsters who give us food and rations and whiskey
And hugs and kisses.
and hugs and warmth, and then they go leave in the morning before they turn to a pumpkin.
Little man's
There's seven
ladder.
of them. They're short. They're miners. They have a tall, black-haired girl with them.
It's a little man's ladder. It's Warwick Davis's ladder. You just pulls. There you go. There you go. So, Pat, you can head to the roof. Pat, you can roll me, my friend. You can roll me a roll. And that roll will be let me see here. Tadbury's just.
I was gonna say Tadbury.
Tadbury's
Made it all to the side.
rather coming back to me right now. You can roll me a con.
Okay.
I wanted to make sure that con was in this game.
Yeah, good.
Just Will,
Yes.
my con is greatly changed.
You're right. Is it so changed as to succeed on that roll?
Oh, it would be because I don't take that type of natural stuff.
Natural stuff no more. Yeah, okay.
What did she change about yourself, Pot?
Yes, so there's something going on with Pat that we've been alluding to here, but for whatever reason, Pat can stay outside in the freezing cold looking out. His visibility is somewhat better from up here, but of course, it still feel a touch of the cold there. Nancy, you're pretty concerned when Pat's been up there for like about an hour. Like, he could die.
Pot, he's going to bite the dust. I just, Evelyn's losing their marbles in the corner there, rocking back and forth, and then...
Yeah, Hans is like, calm down, it's okay, it's okay. Maybe we should see to your friend, the American. He must be freezing his balls up there, no?
Probably, although I don't want to think about the later part of what you just said. I'm going to, let's go.
Oh,
Let's offer him a shot of whiskey.
of course. Good idea, yes, good idea.
Would you like some? I've got like, imagine her bottle
It's-
is like half down now, and she's just
Rationed,
like rationing it out.
Really? Half down?
She knew supplies were low. She's been rationing.
Is it half full
Right,
or half
okay.
empty? So yeah, okay. So Nancy downs that shot and hands one out to Hans. See what I did there. And you head up, and it's fucking freezing up here. Like, the winds are howling. You're unsure how Pat is staying up here, and he's pretty calmly kind of seated and looking out into the beyond.
Pat, you should probably come in. It's freezing out here.
I don't turn around, but Pat just says, "Y'all get down there. I got a better vantage point from up here."
But I don't want you to freeze to death, Pat. We've been through so much together, and you're really good with them guns.
Right. He chuckles a little bit. Right, Nancy. Okay, I'm fine. Everything's fine. We're all good here.
Are you sure? Because, oh, it's really cold out here.
It ain't so bad.
I mean, you're crazy. That's fine. More Russians for everybody else. It's fine. She just climbs back down the ladder. Just like...
Yeah, he's gonna die there. You know, you're convinced.
Yeah. She's just like, I tried.
You gave it your best.
I
You
did.
gave it your best.
I did. She wasn't gonna fit. He has got guts. She wasn't gonna, like, manhandle him down there.
Yeah.
Now, if it was Harvey, she'd be, like, dragging him by the ear. You know, she'd be like... Harvey, get your ass inside.
So, whilst Harvey's downstairs, Harvey actually comes across Felicia, the reporter from The Times, who's writing a piece called Horror on the Orient Express. And she is kind of like shaking in the corner. She's gone through a lot of stuff recently. And you hear, Harvey.
Yes, I head over and sit down next to her.
The world must know. The people need to know.
All the monsters under the bed that your mother told you were real?
Yes, everything, all of it. I didn't believe it until I saw, and now I can't unsee. And every time I close my eyes, it's all I see, Harvey. It's all I see.
You didn't believe it until you saw it. So who's going to believe it if you write about it?
There'll be evidence. There are the people on this train. They'll speak. They'll testify.
Perhaps they will. Perhaps, it's human nature to kind of blank out things that they don't understand. Try to put logic to the illogical. I mean,
there's no explaining that, and you know it, Harvey.
Oh, I do. Yes, I do. However, I don't know if the people who read what you're going to write will. And it would be a shame for your career to be ended like that.
Why do you say this to me? You don't want me to write about it, do you? But the world must know, Harvey.
No, I mean, you're more than welcome to write about it. You're more than welcome. I just fear that if you do, people won't believe it.
You're working for them.
No.
You're one of them.
Well, considering how many times they've tried to kill me, I don't think so. That'd be pretty lousy benefits and perks for the job.
Who are they?
No.
Who are they?
Actually, there's quite a few. I've lost
This
track
this
of them.
Macret. We need to find him. The world must know of his crimes.
You want to continue with us? After everything you've seen, you want to go further into this living hell that you have witnessed?
There's nothing else. How can I go on? How can I return to normal life? How can any of us? How can we go back?
Guess you could try, or not.
Have you tried?
Well,
or have you
no choice.
continued along? There's no choice for you. What do you mean? There's no choice for me either.
So you wish to help us?
Yes.
Then you're more than welcome to have come along. But I do hope you realize what you're getting into. I think the horrors that you have seen...
Do you know what you're into? Do any of us?
No. But the horrors you have just seen is just the tip of what I've seen. And it's going to get worse.
Why do you persist?
To save the ones I love.
I don't know if there's anyone left for me to love. Who do you keep going for? You're here on your own. Your friends?
Oh, well, of course, my friends, and my family back home, and of course, my sweetheart back in France. There are many people.
You're a long way from France now.
We are indeed. We're a long way from home right now, aren't we? Yet we must persist. We must continue.
Tell me about her. I want to know what would keep you going, because family, yeah, sure. I can imagine what your family are like. I've known people just like you. Your friends, they're just there by happenstance.
Well, I mean, she I've met her when I was in cleanup duty in France after World War One. I didn't get to fight in World War One. I got my officer's rank a bit too late, so I was sent over after the war to help with cleanup. And it was a gruesome sight. Even afterwards, people starving, begging, children crying, orphaned. Orphanages everywhere were just packed with families, absolutely generations just butchered before their eyes. And I just saw her working, helping these people constantly for over 24 hours non-stop, where I was just trying to help with supplies left, right and center. Boxes go in there, food goes there, the boring paperwork stuff. She was out there getting dirty and getting her hands dirty, and then, you know, as time goes on, we started chatting, and as these things do, we grew closer, and after the war we continued.
But you live in London.
I do indeed, yes.
And she's still in France? Why is she still there?
She's a nurse, and she couldn't possibly be taken away from her job, helping her own countrymen.
And you couldn't be taken away from London?
Well, I have certain responsibilities in London.
But you love her?
Of course.
But not enough to live with her or be with her?
It's more complicated than that. It is in the process of happening. It's just a lot more complicated than that.
Is to do with your station?
Again, it's very complicated. And I'd rather not go into the whole situation, you know, all the circumstances and stuff.
Fair enough. I don't mean to... I'm sorry. It's just... It's nice to hear of real life.
And there can be a real life for you too, after this. That
Perhaps.
is why I want you to stop. That is why I want you to go home. Because I think, although it will be difficult, you could have a real life. And if you stay with us, I'm afraid that you will lose all chance of that completely.
Maybe I will. Maybe you're right. But I don't know. I can't know. You know what made me become a reporter? What made me come out here and follow you all?
No.
It was the opposite of yours in a way. You saw someone helping others and saving them. I saw someone hurting others, someone who was so hurt that they couldn't stop hurting other people. After the Great War, I was in London, and soldiers returned home. I remember the day that the ships came in and they returned home to their wives and families, and the women and the children. Everyone was so excited to have them back. Everyone was expecting everything to be okay again, to be right, but it wasn't. I saw a man, my sister's husband, return home, and he didn't know who she was anymore, who his own child was. He just looked at them, blank. There was nothing there. And from there, he was never the same. There was such an anger in him. And when I heard the news that she'd been killed by him, but that was it, you know. That was my thing, my start, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I'm here.
People handle trauma and horrific events differently. Unfortunately, the events that those poor souls in the Great War went through may not be physically, but mentally, some scars just don't heal. And
Do you think our scars will ever heal, Harvey?
I like to think so. There's always hope. But you still have to keep on trying. You still have to keep on fighting to go back to the way things were, for a better way.
Yeah. I thought after the war there would be an end to the suffering.
I think we all did. Unfortunately, this wasn't the first war, and it won't be the last.
Well, I suppose I better try and get some sleep. It's cold.
Yeah, you wrap it warm, and we're gonna need your energy in the morning. Some more snow to be shoveling. And I tap her on the shoulder.
Yeah. She kind of smiles and wraps up and tries to go to sleep.
I get up and start walking up and down the train again, just kind of like patrolling, making sure everyone's okay.
Okay. So, you pretty bump into Nancy, and she'll tell you that Pat is up on the top of the train, and this point has been for quite some time.
There's no use trying to save him, Harvey. I tried. He won't come down. We just need to reconcile ourselves to the losses now.
Wait, Pat is freezing himself to death on top of the train?
I tried. I was like, why don't you come down? He's like, oh no, I'm fine up there. Why don't you just go down? And I was like, but it was really cold, and I was like, no, well, he's obviously, the cold's gotten to his head. I can't help him. He's gone. Harvey.
All right. I'll have a word with him. See what he has.
All right. I hope you have more luck talking to him than I did.
We'll see.
Speak some reason into him.
I'll climb up and approach Pat.
Yeah, you see him up there, staring out into the dark.
I sit next to him and go, it's bloody cold up here, Pat.
Yeah, it ain't warm.
What are you doing up here?
Oh, just keeping watch.
Pat, it's pitch black. You can barely see a couple of feet in front of you.
I can see enough.
I'd much rather you keeping an eye on people inside rather than on here.
I can keep a better eye on them out here. Problems are gonna come from outside the train, Harv. Ain't gonna come from in the train. If they're in the train, you guys can handle them.
Yes, but I'd rather not have you freeze to death on top of a train. We kind of need you.
Hey. At this point, Pat turns and looks right at Harv as he's sitting beside him, and he says, "Don't worry about me, buddy." And he takes off his hat, and underneath his hat, where his gray hair used to be, is a fused patch of grafted flesh. And he puts his hat back on.
I'm just getting better.
Pat, what the hell did you do?
What needed to be done, Harv? This ain't gonna be won by me. I know what my role is in all this. It's to get between whatever's out there and you guys. You guys got the brains. Evelyn, she's the key, provided she can keep her shit together. But, you and Nancy, you're the ones gonna see this thing through. Me, best that I can do is be the biggest goddamn speed bump Macri had. All these other assholes can run over.
No, I refuse to accept the fact that you have given up on actually getting out of this alive. No, we can all get back. We can all return back.
You're a good kid, Harv. You always have been. That's why you're gonna make it through this. I knew from the jump, before I even left the States, I'd never see it again. That's all right. I've accepted it, man. I'll make it. As far as I need to make it. But I tell you what, when they come, I'm gonna be ready for them. And I'm gonna make them burn.
When he does that, Harvey kind of backs away and kind of like just opens his mouth as if to say something, but nothing comes out, and he just silently just gets up and kind of walks back down into the carriage. Well, climbs back down, I should say, back into the carriage and locks up the hatch again, and goes to Nancy and and just looks at her and muted.
You couldn't speak reason into him ever. And the cold's gotten to his head, it has.
Yes, I think he doesn't believe that he's going to survive.
But of course not if he's sitting out in the bloody blizzard.
No, I mean, he thinks. I mean, I don't know. He's grafted things on him.
What?
Yeah,
He wasn't even missing anything.
I know. But I think he's finally. I think he's essentially accepted the fact that he's not going to get out this, so he's going to use every advantage he can to kill as many of them as he can.
But we're all going to get out of this, Harvey.
That's what I thought, but evidently he's given up.
Well, I can't accept that. It is unacceptable. We're going to not let him alone near any other dead bodies again.
Yes, I'd rather not have him become some sort of Frankenstein-esque monster. Was Frankenstein written at this moment? I don't know. I can't.
Yeah.
remember. It was it? Okay.
Pat is our friend, and we are going to make sure he gets through this too.
Yes, I agree. We gotta look after each other. We'll get through this. We'll just watch each other's back, and we'll get through this. I mean, hell, I came back from no eyes and a tongue. If I can come back from the pack.
Right, and you're fine. You got 2 eyes, and they're the original Harvey eyes too. I mean, what?
Yes, that's kind of freaky, but yes, they are.
A lot has been pretty freaky on this trip so far. You know, I've just kind of accepted it. I'm just going to go with the flow from now on. Just kind of whatever. Generic attitude.
Yeah.
Just keep
Nancy,
keep up.
promise me you'll never forget. You won't lose your humanity. You know, like Pat has.
Pull out my rosary. Never. I have got people looking after me. You guys, and you know, the Lord.
Of course, and I'm sure Jack as well, as he taps the whiskey bottle.
Yeah, you know, there's some, you know, Jack. There's Tully. There's some good lads. You know, they help.
Jack's got your back.
Anyway, Nancy, you better get some sleep. I'm gonna just patrol the thing for a while.
All right. Let me know if you need me or anything.
Oh, if you hear a loud scream like a little boy, it's probably me.
Okay. I don't know how well I'll sleep now, but that's great. I'm going to be sipping my last shot of whiskey for the day in the corner over there, if you need.
Okay.
The last one for the day.
Yeah, she's rationing it.
Yeah.
She's sipping this like little shot.
Okay.
It's currently 11:59.
Yeah.
The first one of the day.
All right, so Pat and Harvey can roll me spot hiddens.
Okay.
Seeing as you guys are keeping an eye out.
I see nothing. It's pitch black.
It is dark here. What about Pat? Okay, Pat succeeds.
Pat sees everything.
He
now.
does, yeah. Pat's seen the light. And it is radiant. Pat, you don't see anything, first of all, but you do hear something. You at first think it's the wind, but you realize it's not the wind howling, it's actual voices which are howling down somewhere from the mountains and reverberating and echoing around where the train is. You also spot that the snow appears to be moving against gravity. So where it was kind of sliding down and like water and ice was like sliding down the train, it seems to be moving up towards you.
Up towards me.
Yes.
Okay, Pat puts his cigarette between his lips, pulls out one of his guns, and goes to phase 2.
Okay. So as Pat clicks out his timepiece, you see that there is something rather different before you. It's not ice that is crawling towards you. It appears to be humanoid figures that are almost like flattened and pressed and elongated and stretched. Imagine if you put someone on a rack and just kept going until all of their arms and legs have kind of been like popped out and pulled. That's what you're seeing, and their eyes are kind of crystals, just like the snow. And their kind of flattened forms are sliding their way towards you and towards the train. Now, there is some real snow as well down there, so it's not like everything is just like a walking carpet of these, but there are, several dozen of these figures. One of them is actually quite close to you and it's sliding up the train towards you. Others are just moving towards the train itself. They're quite slow, and they're quite inexorable.
How many, Will?
On your... I'll give you it on your spot hidden. You count at least 24. But it's moving slowly. It's not moving like darting towards you. It's moving like water droplets move down a pane of glass. Sometimes they're very slow and you're just watching them fall down. At other times they trickle and move forwards a little bit faster. So they seem to be coming towards you using stealth as their main tactic.
Have they noticed that I've shifted phases?
It seems to be the only way that you can see them, but they don't know that you see them. They don't, or if they do, they don't react to it.
Will, seeing as how these guys came out of the snow, were they a part of the pass that had been blocked?
Some of them, yes.
Is the way open?
Some of it.
How open is some of it?
Well, you look down into the pass, and there's maybe half of what was there initially. It would take some ramming to go through it. You would risk going off the tracks, but it is possible if you could alert Berto and start fueling that fire fast enough that you could break through the pass.
Oh God, Pat's gonna make a decision. Crazy Pat now. Pat takes a shot of laudanum. And
okay.
I've been doing that since I sawed into that cat. So.
Yeah. Okay. So you sip at some laudanum and kind of glug it down, which immediately your vision kind of blurs as you take this, a drug which can have quite hallucinative effects. It's just like whiskey, though. And what do you want to do? Are you kind of alerting the train to what's going on? Because they're moving quite slowly. You probably have several minutes to alert people. You're not sure if they know that you know.
Okay, I want to swing down into the carriage, which is Harvin. Nancy should be right below me, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to pop open the thing and swing it down, and I just scream, "Fire up the train. Now."
Oh, but
don't ask questions. Fire up the train.
Snow.
It ain't much there anymore.
Oh.
I still think we've got a day's worth.
No, Harv. No time for debates. This is bad shit.
All right, Nancy will go off to the engine room.
Okay. You head off to the engine room. Berto is there asleep at his stool.
And can she take a glance out a window and see if there's still a shit ton of snow there?
Yeah, you look outside the window and the sky looks like you're in phase 2. And you see that there are creeping figures slithering on their way on the ground towards you.
Ooh!
They seem to be humanoid, and mostly kind of human faces, but with crystalline eyes and kind of covered and frozen in snow as if they died out here in ancient times.
Okay. Well then, Berto, we're firing up the train. Let's get going. Are there any other tracks that we can maybe plow over on the way? Just to knock some of them out.
Berto, he wakes up. What? What?
The snow has moved out of the way a bit. We're going forward. No.
He's what? No, morning.
No.
No. The engine needs heat. Can't just. Boom.
Like some bitch.
Goes up. He's like, he looks outside to see the pass, but he hasn't noticed the figures on the ground.
Hey, look, it's a lot clearer. Let's go.
Only bits. It still needs more clear.
Well, how close are these guys getting?
Yeah, they're getting closer now.
Is the one still creeping on me? Like,
so he's on the roof. So you imagine he's going to start trying to slide his way down the ladder onto the train. So you've got a couple minutes of him, maybe.
All right.
You do sense them picking up their pace somewhat.
Are there any in the tracks that we can run over?
Yeah, there are ones in the tracks coming towards you.
Let's go right now. Just gotta
go backwards.
Go backwards. Can we go backwards?
What do you want? You're a crazy woman. Go sleep.
A little bit. It's fine.
Just pull the brake. Send us going, and then heat that sumbitch up on the way.
So Nancy think that if
first
we
you
went
went forward,
backwards,
now you go back. Now what?
So, question: does Nancy think that if we went backwards and then forwards really fast, we could plow through this sucker?
Yeah, roll me an idea.
All right.
I love this plan. This is Nancy.
Oh my gosh! I have advantage from trolls.
You do. You have advantage from trolls.
Yeah, that's a success.
Hey, there we go. It's possible. Yeah, you'd have to go back and pick up enough speed, and then you'd be at ramming speed.
All right, we got to get to ramming speed.
Got to crank it to maximum.
We got to get to ramming speed. Let's go.
Okay. So.
Back up.
Berto still needs some convincing. In that he doesn't know what's going on. You've just woken up at it's midnight. You wanted to go forwards, now you want to go backwards and then forwards. He's very confused.
So there's these things, and they don't look good. And Nancy's just like, "All right, here, drink this." She pours him a shot of whiskey.
He's like, okay. He like reluctantly takes it.
All right, you're all fired up now. I'm just gonna grab him by the face. She's gonna play one on him. Get this train going backwards, and we're gonna bust through this snowbank.
he's like, oh, he's stunned by it, and then like pulls on the brake, and you feel yourself started going backwards as you fired up the engine.
As we're going backwards, can Nancy like try to prep the train as best she can for impact? Like maybe throw something in the front, or like to kind of like plow it or something.
You'd have to like go around the front of it to like attach something on.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's going backwards.
He's going backwards.
Yeah.
You'd have to run. Yeah, you'd have to run out the front first of all, and then find something to attach to it, and then attach it.
We probably used most of the stuff as fuel, so instead she's gonna just kind of like help him and prep as best she can for the impact on the inside.
Okay.
Will, I'm heading back up. As soon as that thing starts to drift backwards, I'm heading back up. And if that thing pops its face up before I get up there, it's getting a barrel full of shotgun, man.
Okay. So Nancy kind of feels the train moving backwards. Are you still running outside, or are you staying with Berto here?
No, she's gonna stay with him and help him as best she can. Like make sure everything's well oiled and greased and just ready for impact.
Oh yeah,
so
it is. Yeah.
Just make sure everything is, and maybe tell people to hold on.
He sent him up, I'll knock him down. So, people are waking up as the train's set into motion, and they're confused about what's going on.
Hold on, we're going to clear the valley. Everybody, hold tight onto something.
Amelia is immediately up to the engine room. She's like, "What the hell is going on into here?"
There's been a slight change of itinerary, madam. If you could please brace yourself for impact.
Don't bullshit me. What's going on?
I am not bullshitting you. There has been a slight change to the itinerary. If you could look outside the window, you'll see these crazy frost monsters that are going to try to eat everybody on this train. So I am preparing this train to go to ramming speed so we can get the fuck out of this place and get through the snow pass.
Amelia saves her sanity check as she sees these creatures outside.
Just calmly. It's like,
Yeah, she's okay. It's happening again. Fuck, it's
please
happening
do not
again.
alert the people we don't want to panic. Just tell them to brace for impact and maybe grab something and hit something with if it comes inside the
Why
train.
does this keep fucking happening?
What do you mean keeps happening? Oh, the tentacles, right? Venice. Ma.
She glowers at you, shoots you a look that would kill, and Berto at this point is just like happily doing his train thing. It's just, oh yes, Vendi Vici, and Amelia goes back to start shouting at people to tell them that brace for impact here, hold on to something. I don't know what a fucking Scottish woman's doing, but it's gotta get us through it. Pat's running upstairs. Harvey, what are you doing at this point?
Well, Harvey's going to actually try and find out what the hell is actually coming towards us, because he doesn't know. All he's heard is Pat say, start the engine and go forward. So
Just look outside the window.
Fine.
Okay, so you want to look outside the window. You can roll me a spot hidden.
Yeah, I'll do that. How good my spot hidden is. I don't see anything. My spot hidden is like, what, 45? I rolled a 95, so it's too dark for me.
Okay, yeah. You're trying to make.
He didn't need his carrots.
You're trying to make figures out there. You can see that there are figures moving towards you. You can't see the true extent of their kind of horror, but you know that the train is moving backwards. You know, people are kind of waking up and kind of shouting around about what's going on. Amelia is screaming something about a crazy Scottish woman moving the train backwards, and you see Pat disappear upstairs with a shotgun.
In that case, I'm gonna just go make sure everyone inside the cabin is gonna get ready to brace. You know, like hunker down, make sure that they're ready for an impact. Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you're trying to organize the people, trying to calm them down, and like get them to hold on to pieces of furniture that you've taken out. Which is the problem is that there's almost nothing to hold on to at this point. They have each other to hold on to, and if this thing slams or falls off at high speed, there's going to be casualties.
Well, I mean, there's still bars, like
Sure.
you know, where you can.
There's things overhead that you can hold on to.
Casualties means less food.
There's food. This is good. Sure. So there's and they could hold onto the windows and stuff, or just each other. It's just certainly not the most secure thing. Like if you were jolted from your feet, then you go flying basically. So it's moving backwards at some speed. Nancy, how long do you want to leave it moving backwards?
To Venice.
So back to Venice, please. Let's back up. This vehicle is
She's
reversing.
gonna want to make sure it's got enough ramming speed.
Yeah, the train goes boop 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 as it goes backwards.
And enough to plow, because there's some monsters on the track, so that's gonna slow us down a little bit as we run over them to get through the bank. So she's gonna give it a safe backup distance so she can smush some monsters and plow through the snowbank. So,
Okay, so you leave it for some time as Bo is going. Let's cut back to Pat, who's just ran back up the ladder onto the roof where this creature is now, seems to be fully aware that you are aware of it, if that makes sense.
Right.
So it's crawling towards you, and you can see that its kind of fingers end in sort of like icicle claws. You do not want to get touched by them.
Okay. I don't plan to.
It's a good plan.
Let's light him up.
Okay.
He's the only one close to me, right?
sorry.
Yes, the others are mostly not on the roof. They're mostly trying to get in through passenger doors and windows.
Right. We had one guy on the roof, and the rest were coming
Yeah.
sideways, right? All right, I'm gonna see what this guy. Let's see what he's made of here.
Mostly ice and bodies, I think. And despair.
Well, let's see what's on the inside.
Yeah. Okay. So how much? Yeah. So your shotgun. What's the damage on that?
It's actually a D12.
D12, I
isn't it?
think. Yeah. Shotguns are nasty. As several characters in my Call of Cthulhu games have found out. Was
11.
it? I don't remember whose character I killed with a shotgun blast. I think it was I think it was Will's character from a couple of seasons back. I rolled 12 damage on him and he just died. So D12 11, nice. So and what ammunition are you using? I should ask.
This is my blood bullets.
Okay.
I've got the. This is so disgusting. I've got the priest blood, and I've got that little kid blood that I got out of the maze last time.
Yeah.
I am flush with blood, dude.
Okay, it's a real flush. Yeah, so you fire into this creature, and you see parts of its kind of like icy body being torn apart, but it's still going. Like you've ripped this thing in half, basically, but it's coming at you.
Obviously, a lot slower.
Yes, it is. It is going slower. It will get a chance to try and swipe at you if you stay here much longer, though.
Can I scoot back along the car, like just kind of as it moves, I'm moving with it?
Sure. You'd have to like make a jump to jump onto the next car, else you'd have to go down to the ladder or move past it, if that makes sense.
I ain't gonna move past it. Christ, I'm so nervous. I'm talking like Pat. Let's see. How about I just go down? I'm going to go down in anyway because, again, I'm going to secure the top. If this thing's slowed down, it's not going to be able to hold on whenever she hits the brakes on this thing. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to get down and try to just start going around the windows. Boom, 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 if I can
Okay.
clear these things off.
All right. So you head back down to the ladder and presumably like close the door to the outside world. To stop this thing from getting in. You can hear it kind of, it's kind of icy, panting breath as it's coming above you on the roof. And at this point, people are starting to panic as they're hearing the sounds of these panting creatures getting closer and kind of worming their way on the ground. And some people have been unfortunate enough to look out the window and fail sanity checks. One man who apparently had a pistol on him blows out his own brains in
I take the gun.
the carriage. Yeah.
One less for rations.
You grab the gun as he just blows out his brains in the carriage, and people scream out in shock and fear. People are screaming and screeching as this man's entrails are just kind of splattered all over them in this carriage. So that leads to basically mass hysteria in one of the 5 carriages that you've got going. I guess one of the 4 passenger carriages that you still have, because one of them is for the surgeons. So that's happening right now. At the same time, Berto is ready to start moving the thing forward.
All right.
But as you learn, it's quite a process to do that.
All right, brakes.
So yeah, he begins the quite complicated and long ordeal of stopping a train from going backwards and then start moving it forwards again. And it's very sluggish and slow to get going.
Thankfully, I greased it all up beforehand, and you know those brakes are superb, and the wheels are great.
Oh,
You know.
see. Because he doesn't know what's going on right now. You're like trapped in the engine room. It's just like the sound of the engine. So he's quite happy, and like he sets it going forward and starts it in motion.
And I'm gonna just like heap a little extra fuel onto the fire too, so it gets nice and hot. You know, maybe help melt some of these creatures in the snows.
Okay. So at this point, Harvey and Pat, who are back in the carriages, start to feel the train slowly start chugging its way forwards after a couple of minutes, of being in reverse. And you see clawing at the thinly defended windows these faces of long dead frozen people with these razor sharp ice claws that are just like tearing through this wood and hacking at people. And one of them basically just like pushes his hand through with an unerring strength and speed for how you've seen them moving, and it just pushes it right through someone's throat who's looking through the window, and just kind of pulls it back, and the man just gargles up blood and dies on the floor. There are several of them attacking the windows now and the doors.
Pat yells, "Everybody get on the floor, away from the windows." And I'm gonna, as they drop down, if they don't, I'm gonna run them right over. As they drop down, Pat pulls out both of his revolvers, and I'm literally gonna run down the middle of the train, shooting at them as they come, just trying to deflect them off the train, out of the windows.
Okay. Yeah, you could give me a roll for that. What roll would be appropriate? It's fun to call it, I know none of the skills well.
I suggest firearms.
Firearms, yeah. I mean, if you're shooting, then firearms. But if you're like pushing people around, then you give me just a strength.
Sure. You want strength first, then firearms?
Yeah.
Okay. Or about power? We got power.
Power. Power, I believe,
That's
is
for like sanity.
sanity and magic base. Yeah. I always make that mistake as well.
Oh no, I meant size. Isn't size like?
Oh yeah, if you're like bullying someone over, saying size would work. Yeah.
Okay.
I roll my size, says America.
Oh, that's an extreme success.
Ooh, damn.
Football linebacker him down.
Yeah. So you you just
the fuck down.
yeah, you like bowl these people over, and they just like hit the deck as they've been like taught to now. They're basically going into oh god, it's happening again mode, and they hit the deck immediately as you bowl some people over, and you actually manage to basically kind of shoulder barge one of these creatures off. And back down onto the window. As that happens, you can run with firearms.
Oh wow, I missed. Wait a minute, no, we got the simulacrums close to us, right?
The simulacrum, I believe, is mostly of Nancy. So
And
Evelyn's got a
has
part.
one.
Evelyn's got a part.
Evelyn's not here right now.
I'll use 5 luck anyway. That's what it's there for.
Okay. So yeah, you manage to, as you like shoulder barge it off the window, you see it down, you put a gun out the window and just kind of fire it out at the creature, and it doesn't like explode in like blood or brains or anything. It just seems to shatter apart like glass, like you just kind of broken a mirror essentially, and it just kind of crumbles into snow and ice. Now, Nancy, Berto doesn't really seem to be grasping the imperative nature of this situation, and so you know, you get the feeling he could probably be doing some more right now because he's a bit distracted by everything.
Berto, we've got to get through the snowbank.
Oh,
Like,
see.
The faster, the better. We gotta get through this, man. You can do
Big vroom, vroom, vroom.
it. Big boom. The biggest of booms you can vroom. We'll go for it, and it'll be like awesome, and you'll be a hero, man.
Roll me a charm.
A charm or persuade?
Charm or persuade? Yeah, that'd work.
That's a success. I think that's a difficult success.
Difficulties. Okay. So yeah, he is convinced to go vavavoom. And
I'll like as he's like at the controls, I'll kind of like shoulder like you've got this, man. You're great. And like one of the hands though, I'm gonna like pull away, put the simulacrum on his shoulder, just be like,
Nice.
give him a little extra oomph, you know?
I do, yeah, okay. So he's like, oh, vavavoom. And the train begins to like steam ahead as you're piling more fuel into it, and it starts to, you know, pick up some motion. And he kind of pokes his head out the window. He says, better brace soon. Oh, you're muted, Nancy.
She's like, you've got this, you're doing great. And I'll yell like, kind of like open like the little window that the conductor like room has, and be like, praise for Unmarked.
Praise. So
It's the Starship Enterprise.
it really is. Yeah. She can't take any more, Captain.
Gonna take any more cup. We've got this conductor. We've got this, and she's gonna like, you know.
I like the idea that Nancy somehow found the conductor's hat.
Yeah. She takes off the Sherlock Holmes hat. She puts the conductor's hat on. She's gonna brace as well.
Okay. So everybody can roll me a dex. Brace for impact. Oh, and Nancy rolled a nat 1. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
At least I've used a month now.
That's true. At least it's out of the way. It's out of the way. 6 and 9 from Harvey. Any luck?
Oh, we all failed.
Oh, yeah. Who?
Matt, how much does advantage give?
Advantage is like a reroll.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a reroll. Oh,
So you take highest, yeah.
There we go. I'll take it.
Succeeds.
I succeed.
Very nice. Okay. And Pat, success or?
Failure. It was a failure.
Ah, good. Oh, good. So, Nancy, you are thrown from your feet. This is particularly dangerous for you because there is an engine, a burning hot engine, by this. So I'm going to roll you a d10. You take 6 damage, and you are quite burnt as well, as you're kind of like tossed against a cast iron, burning hot flames and fire of the engine, and like your arm is seared with third-degree burns, and some of your side is like completely kind of sizzled and burned through as well. And Pat, it's not going to be so bad for you because all you can hit around here is about things things that are squishier than you. So, in fact, no, you take 6 damage, 6 wounds.
Would that be from normal everyday items?
That is normal everyday item damage. So Pat slammed around. Go ahead.
But Pat doesn't take that damage.
Yeah. So Pat is thrown, and it's like this. He's thrown in such a way that it should break his neck. Like, you watch Pat be like slammed up against the side, and you like see him be squished and like piled on by a bunch of other people who are thrown away. And his neck is at such an angle that it should be broken, and you know the brain has been like cut off from everything else. But you see him just like crack it back into place with this like sickening kind of crunch, and he stands back up again. And the other people around him are dead, but he's fine.
Soft landing.
Keep these bodies.
Go ahead.
I think when Harvey sees that, he eyes Pat suspiciously and kind of instinctively puts his hand on his gun. You know, it's kind of instinctively.
Right. Tough to tell friend from foe sometimes, isn't it?
When Pat sees Harvey put his hand on his gun, he smiles at Harvey and goes, "Now you're getting it, kid."
At the same time, most of the new lodges that you have been dislodged by the train, kind of smashing through the drift, and you feel yourself going through the pass. Through the pass and away from the village. There are a couple of stragglers that are ripping through people, and you have lost. It looks like currently at this point about 20 people have been killed, either by the kind of bump or by the eldritch horrors, or they've killed themselves or jumped off the train and then they're consigned to death. So you've got like 2 or 3 of them left on here that are kind of ripping through people, Harvey. One of them is quite near to you and coming towards you, and you and Pat are kind of back to back at this point.
Click and shoot.
All right, let's see it.
I think I'm gonna do.
Pat puts the shotgun over his shoulder. If we're back to back,
Yeah.
I flip it back to Harv.
Ooh.
This, yeah.
This is more my style. Now I shoot. Yeah. I
Flat
succeed.
top.
Yeah, I succeed.
Nice. So what is something a little bit odd for Harvey is when the gun fires, and you can roll a d12 of damage, by the way. You see that there's like the shell that comes away is like covered in blood. And like a little kind of spray of kind of blood comes out as the chamber is fired out from the chamber, which looks a little bit odd to you. And I'm assuming Pat has like a bandolier or something going on right now of bloody bullets. So the d12 of damage is like you just catch the creature. You just kind of like the scatter shot from it kind of embeds itself into the creature and doesn't look like it really affects it too much at all. It's going to come in to try and swipe you, Harv.
What shotgun is it? Is it pump action or is it kind of like a double barrel?
It's a double barrel, breaks in the middle.
All right.
You have another shot.
The creature misses you, so you do have another shot before you need to reload.
Oh yeah, cool. All right, let's do this. Let's do this.
Yeah, so winnowing away the weak.
That is a difficult success.
Very nice. Okay, so you can roll me some damage.
Come on.
Oh, so another bullet from the chamber, and you find yourself needing to reload. And Pat has the ammunition to this gun at the moment. He's back to back. Pat, you have your own problems right now, as there are 2 of these things coming towards you. Yeah.
More to kill.
I don't think so, man. Okay, no subtlety in this, Will. I want to fan the hammer. I'm going 44 and 38. I'm just gonna do them one at a time, and you tell me if these things stop.
Okay, I'll give you this as well. How worried is Pat about hitting civilians in this?
Not at all.
All right, then I'll give you a +5 for that.
+5 damage.
+5%. Sorry, yeah.
Oh, hell with that. Then I'll be careful. +5. I mean, come on.
That makes it like a 9.
I figure that's probably about as much as you value human lives, but about 5%.
if you give me 10%, then I'll kill people, but not with 5.
I can't. Yeah, nah, it's fine. I'll give you 7. 7's fine to deal.
7.
Fine offer.
Listen, I'll let you know.
I'll call up the banker. So, latest offer.
Okay, 1 hit. Oh,
6
shit.
You want that 5%, buddy?
I'm shooting kids. Okay, that's 3 hits. Let me roll the damage for the first 3. That's awful. Awful what I'm doing. That's whatever. Oh my god.
I
1,
killed the kid last week.
2, 5.
Wow.
8.
Yeah.
8 for the first one.
Okay, so yeah, so 8 on one of them. One of them is stopped, and is like crystallized. The other is going to get close enough to you to be able to. Go ahead.
I could fan the hammer on the second one. I'm
Okay.
halfway through my barrage here.
All right. You have also shot down a person at this point as well.
Oh, sucks to be that.
Yeah, gotten away.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
All right. So those that were hits, you can roll damage for.
2, 6. Okay, so that one is what, 15 total?
So that one crumples as the barrage of bullets just falter it in its tracks. And it stood no chance, really, but neither did several of the people who are now lying bloodied and dead at the end of the carriage as well.
About how many of them? I'm keeping a tally of how
A death
many.
tally. There are 3 people in total that have been murdered by Pat.
Okay, so we're down
in the
to
line of
104.
duty.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you're keeping a tally, how many people live in Venice?
I know, right?
Let's find the population of Venice. in
Keeping a
1923.
train tally because there was originally 127 and 29.
For food!
Yeah, for food!
I thought you were being like compassionate.
No!
Fucking
No, for food, man!
We're hungry here. I like it. Okay. So you gotta do. Guys gotta do what guys gotta do. So yeah, there are 3 people lying dead by the end of the carriage, but it seems like you were in the clear in terms of these creatures have been shaken off your sort of trail, at least for now, which is good news. Oh wait, Harvey's got one still on him though.
Oh,
So,
yeah, yeah.
So it's not over till it's over. This thing's going to try and claw at you, Half, for a 92, which is a miss. So you have an opportunity to do something here.
Can I blast it with the shotgun?
You don't have bullets, right? Unless
Oh,
you've been
yeah,
handed
you're
bullets.
right. I'm gonna hit it with the butt of the gun. I'm just gonna
It's fucking swinging.
just swing and try and hit it.
Okay.
Which I fail miserably. I miss completely.
Oof.
There's a jud onto the train and I miss. Oh,
That's painful.
Okay, back to
I
me.
could have got my pistol out and shot it.
Yeah, so, Nancy, we'll go to Nancy if you want to do anything here.
Ow! Ow! I'm going to pull out my pipe and I'm gonna light it from some of my smoldering flesh after hitting the forge.
From some of my smoldering flesh, I light my pipe.
Oh, and then I recall that session before last we were gifted a D10 of healing, and I'm going to roll that up.
Good idea. Good idea. And that is 34.
And I'm like, oh, I feel much better now. I just needed my pipe. You know, I feel great.
Yeah, the pipe is restorative for sure. Berto gives you a pat on the back and gives you a decanter of whiskey from your bottle to drink from. You feel a lot better.
My own bottle. He's like, you need.
Yeah, you need. No.
I do. Yay, thank you.
So we okay, so we've got a viewer decision. It will come into effect next week because we don't have too much time here. But underneath this line here in chat, I want you guys to tell me a creature or being or cult or organization, something bad basically that they encounter when and if they arrive in Trieste. So, what do they meet in Trieste? Make it bad and Lovecraftian for me, chap. So Nancy, any other actions that you want to take other than healing? Berto's like, we are on tracks now. Turn is coming up. Which turn? It is second turn. Second turn.
All right. I look at the little arrows that Harvey put up, and I'm like, I just point to it like.
What order did you put up there?
It was right, left, right, right. So
See,
be
I have right, left, right, because that's pretty sure it's. But I could be wrong.
I'm pretty sure I double checked with Will, right? I said to you, which are they?
Well, it's in the past now. I don't remember whatever I said was right. As long as you noted it down as I said it, then yeah, you're right.
I did. Yeah.
So it's either right, left, right, or right, left, right. So this is the second one. So this is a decision. Do you turn right or left?
I've got left on mine.
And Nancy has right on.
I have right.
Well, it's Nancy. It's you.
But that's my notes. But Harvey's the one who wrote the
Yeah,
notes.
so that's Lindy's
Harvey
notes.
wrote left.
So she would follow the notes. I'm just saying what I have in mind.
Okay. So
if we're wrong, I'm blaming Retard.
So yeah, you pull this thing.
Can I double check, like with the map?
You could roll me a navigate, yeah.
I will roll a very terrible navigate. Actually, that's not half bad. Let me see. I might use luck just to double check this one. Navigate, yeah, because I'm really shitty at navigating. That's 18 luck though. No, I don't have that much luck left. I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do the original one.
All right. So you pull this thing to the left and tell Berto to go that way. Oh, okay, left. As the train pulls away from this little narrow mountain pass, the rest of the creatures, whatever they were, have been expelled, but not without some amount of casualties. You're now down to about 90 people that are left alive on this.
There's more that died than on my count. Awesome.
Yeah.
That was a whole 14 I didn't count.
Yeah.
Different trade car.
Different car. Yeah, you look back at one of the cars you weren't defending or something. Yeah.
Hey, more rations. That's like a whole extra. Let's say we were rationing for about 113. That's an extra 40 rations.
Ooh. When you think about it like that.
Well, that's good, Nancy. Always thinking positive.
You've got to make the best out of your situation, and I'd like to see if Felicia made it.
Felicia's alive.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if Hans made it.
Hans is alive.
Oh, good. I actually like him. He's a better reporter. He's not all nosy up in your business.
So yes, Amelia's also made it. So Amelia, Hans, Felicia, and Berto are still alive. What's left of the NPCs of this campaign. I'm sure many of them will not survive. But yes, they're kind of making it, and Amelia's like, we need to just get to Trieste as fast as possible, and let's not stop.
That's the plan. That's the plan. That's
yes.
We're good. Oh, and I go over to Pat and I'm like, could you click the watch a couple more times? We're still in phase 2.
You sure about that?
I don't think we should arrive in Trieste on phase 2. We should probably be in phase 1. Just real quick. 3, 4, 1.
Have you ever seen us be able to do that quick?
If we don't stop to fight or save things, yeah.
This is your call, Nancy. I click this. I accept no responsibility.
Let's do this. Let's do this a week from now.
I was 20% responsible for the burning of Venice.
I think you said 40% earlier. I think.
No, I'm pretty sure I said 20.
No, you said 40. And 60 was Greg. I don't know who
I
Greg
don't know
is.
who you're talking about.
How about we visit this in, I don't know, about what feels like a week's time, but it'll only actually be about a half hour.
It's 2 weeks. I won't be here next week. But
Oh, you won't be here next week?
I'm gonna leave you guys inside.
Why don't you just hand me the pocket watch and I'll think about it for a few minutes?
No. This is my pocket watch. Do you want me to do it? Will needs himself a cliffhanger. Do you want me to do it?
Let's get Harvey. Harvey, let's pull him over.
Yes. Yes.
So, if you haven't noticed, we're in phase 2. Should we go over down to phase 1, or should we just chill out here for a bit while we chug on towards the next city?
Will, is there a way on the watch to go from 2 to 1?
No.
Rewinded.
Of course there
I
isn't.
thought I thought if you had said yes, that would have been the best. But yeah, Tommy.
So wait. For us to get through to phase 1, we have to go through
To phase 4.
4. And it isn't something that you can just quickly do, is it?
No, man. 4's with the shit on the floor and the meat chess pieces and shit.
And I think if we go to phase 4, I think that would be it for a lot of people in this train. So
Alright, so we'll wait
Maybe.
till we get to the station and then click back over.
yes.
Yeah.
Alright, I don't feel comfortable traveling in phase 2, but you know, I'm not even going to say it. Nope, but it's fine. It's whatever.
I mean, chances are we're invisible.
It's potentially.
Berto says, "What's the worst that could happen?"
See, I was trying not to say that.
And on that bombshell.
It's
That's
just
what
like
we...
phases. They'll probably mean tracks or stations or something, and we're like, yeah, phase 2.
And on the famous last words of Berto, whom I'm sure is doomed to die next episode. That's where we're going to be wrapping up tonight's episode of Call of Cthulhu Horror on the Orient Express, my friends. Let's face it, it's only a matter of time for Berto at this point. He's actually experienced some enjoyment, and so I must crush it.
He must die.
He must die as soon as possible. Oh, but man, that was a fun episode. I enjoyed that one a lot. Had a lot of cool moments in there. My favorite scenes were Harvey and Felicia and Pat revealing his darker nature. I thought that was awesome. So very much enjoyed this one. If you guys enjoyed it, please do let us know here in the chat. We'd love to hear from you guys. And of course, stick around for our next show as we're beginning a new adventure in Tales from the Yawning Portal, because last week all of our characters died. So I will be playing Meepo the Bard, and Sydney will be playing Poof the Goblin, and I'm not sure who Gareth is playing yet, so that's exciting. So stick around for that game going over here in a second, but let's go to our cast and crew. What do we think, guys, and where can we find you online? Let's start with Lindy tonight.
Oh my goodness. Nancy basically commandeered a train. That was kind of
That
awesome.
was pretty cool, right?
Persuaded Bert. I'm like, we gotta go faster, man.
That was a funny scene as well.
I know, but she gave a planted one right on him. Pat would be so proud, and she'd be so like mortified. But that was a lot of fun. We made it through the snowdrift, and you know, we have more rations now. But I didn't get to say bye, Felicia, so maybe next time. Maybe next time. You're gonna keep her alive just so she can irritate Nancy.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. If you're a annoying NPC or villain, you'll live forever in Call of Cthulhu. That's the trick to life, guys. Just be a villain.
I take matters into my own hands. Anyways, you can find me online at Laugh Love Lindy. I do little Dungeons and Dragons video games, cosplay streams on Twitch. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram.
Fantastic. Greg.
Oh, I had a blast, man. I always say this is where it's at, man, and it's always where it's at. Call of Cthulhu has quickly become, I mean, nothing really can beat D&D just because of the history with it. But man, this thing is just, rocketing up the charts. I love playing Call of Cthulhu. Pat's a great character. This is the trajectory I thought about him the whole time. So
Yeah.
Thanks for working with me, Will, in the lab. Yeah, so I'm going to be out next week. I'm going on vacation, so good luck to you guys. I won't burn the city down, at least.
Maybe.
Not until 2 weeks from now. But yeah, I have a great time playing with you guys. It's absolutely the best. Grimjack 21502. I'm here on Mondays from 4 to 7 playing Journey into Middle-earth. Obviously here playing Call of Cthulhu, which is where it's at. And whenever I return from holiday, 12 to 1 on my own channel, I'm going to be fixing my light and I'm also going to be playing video games and whatever runs on my computer. So thanks for having me, man. It's a blast.
Fantastic. And last but not least, Redundant.
Yeah, sorry for being so late. I had a bit of a
All right, man.
terrible thing to driving airports. Screw
Airport's the worst, man.
rush hour traffic. Can I just say that? Can I just say screw all rush hour?
Can I make a statement here?
Yes.
I'd like this to go on a record, please.
Yes, it has to be. Make a note. Timestamp it.
Write it down.
But highlight. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's good to be back because obviously I was ill last week.
Yes.
So Pat kind of blew up Venice when I wasn't here. So I wanted to reel him in a bit. But yeah, it was great. It was a lot of good fun. I loved the conversations that Harvey had. You learn more about how Harvey actually sees an end. He actually sees life after this. He's still desperately grasping onto that. He sees a life after, whereas some may have just given up. And the fact that he's seen this new side to Pat that has kind of like took him just completely off guard.
Yeah.
So he's not entirely sure how to respond to that. He might be worried of how it would reflect on the others.
Yeah,
'Cause for him,
I like that scene.
the others still have a future. He still sees everyone that has a future after this. But yes. You can also catch me in Encounter Roleplay because I do moderate here and there. In addition, I do have my own Twitch channel, Redundant UK. I haven't streamed for a bit, but I'll be back on streaming 1:30 GMT in the evening, PM I should say, in the afternoon after work. And I got to finish up Wolfenstein, and then should be going on to something like maybe Dishonored 2 or
Nice.
The Evil Within or something like that.
Cool. Lots of horror. As if you're
Yeah, lots of
PTSD
horror.
enough. I like it. Cool. Well, we're going to